Yahweh's holy Sabbath. We are the keepers of the house of light. My name is Yehuda ben Israel. To my left,
Uriah ben Israel.
Obadiah ben Israel.
hey, praise y'all, brothers.
Praise y'all.
Shalom, Shabbat Shalom, I should say. Shabbat Shalom,
Hey,
brother.
Shabbat Shalom, man.
Shabbat shalom, family.
Hey, Shabbat Shalom.
Yes, sir.
First, giving praise to Yahweh for allowing us to see another Sabbath. Despite we may not even be worthy, but Yahweh is just merciful. So that's a good thing. That Yahweh has given unto us to keep this perpetual covenant that we many generations later in the land of our captivity are keeping. That in of itself is a miracle.
That's right.
But before we get into everything, today's Sabbath class discussion is entitled Exodus,
A nation out of a nation.
A nation out of a nation.
Exodus, a nation out of a nation. Isn't that something?
Praise y'all.
Praise God.
Praise Him, man.
I think that should get us ready to start thinking about the power of Yahweh, what He can do. So before we get into that topic for today's discussion, I want to turn it over to elder brother Uriah ben Israel, so that he can do the reading, our readings for this Sabbath.
Hey, thank you, my elder. First, I would like you to go to the book of Deuteronomy chapter 6. We're going to be reading verses 4 and 5. And this is the Shema, which is derived from the Hebrew word shamar, which means listen or hear. Listen to the word, the instruction, the law, the commandment, the statutes and the judgment of the Most High Yah, that we should walk in them and do them.
Yes, sir.
Praise Yah.
Praise Yah.
Verse 4. Hear, O Israel, Yahweh Elohim is one other name, and thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. That's the Shema. I want to take you to the gospel, where we see the Mashiach himself, his son, magnify this also.
Praise Yah.
So if he magnified this also,
Okay.
we also must magnify the Lord also.
Okay.
And can be found in the book of Matthew chapter 22. And we're going to pick up our reading from verse 34. But when the Pharisees had heard that he had put the Sadducees to silence, they were gathered together. Then one of them, which was a lawyer, asked him a question, tempting him and saying, Master, which is the great commandment in the law? Yeshua said unto him, Thou shalt love Yahweh thy Elohim with all thine heart, and with all thy soul, and with all thy might. This is the first and great commandment. And the second is like unto it. Thou shalt love thy neighbor as thyself. On these two commandments hang all the laws and the prophet. Yeah. Praise Yah.
Praise Yah.
For those encouraging words also.
Praise Yah.
We are here today because Yahweh is allow us to be here to do the work that the Mashiach left for us to do. Let's turn to the book of Matthew, chapter 18. And we're going to be reading verse 20. Matthew, chapter 18, verse 20. For where 2 or 3 are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them.
Hallelujah.
And we're talking about the Mashiach himself, the Messiah, Yeshua. He authorized us to be here today to the Father. Next, I would like to take you to the book of Isaiah chapter 58, verse 13 and 14. Verse 13, if thou turn away thy foot from the Shabbat, from doing thy pleasure on my holy day, and call the Shabbat a delight, the holy of Yahweh, honorable, and shall honor him, not doing thine own ways, nor finding thine own pleasure, nor speaking thine own words, then shalt thou delight thyself in Yahweh. And I will cause thee to ride upon the high places of the earth, and feed thee with the heritage of Jacob thy father, for the mouth of Yahweh has spoken it.
Hallelujah.
Praise
for
God.
those things, man. Praise God
Praise
for those
God.
words. And we are the keepers of the house of light. Again, thank you, brother, for God will give you the spirit to even read
Praise
those
God, man.
words. And not only the spirit, but the privilege, the honor.
That's right.
You know, everybody's not called to even read the word, much less called to Christ, Yahshua.
Mm-hmm.
So we have to give thanks to understand that these words were written by holy men who wrote them as the Holy Spirit moved them to write.
That's right.
And why would Yahweh preserve these holy words to this day? There's a purpose. Because our class is entitled Exodus. Say it again, brothers.
A nation. Oh, a nation.
Yes, sir.
A nation out of a nation.
That's it.
Now, we've often said that Yahweh, he did that. We're gonna start this class discussion. And you know, our fathers are in Egypt. But guess what? You're in Egypt right now. As was written.
That's right.
We're in Egypt
That's right.
right now.
House of bondage.
It's the house of bondage. A long captivity. We already studied in Genesis. Genesis 15, where Yahweh showed Abraham in a vision that his seed would be strangers in the land, not their own. And they shall what be, they're going to be there, they're going to be afflicted there for 400 years.
That's right.
So America was prophesied in the scriptures.
That's right.
That this land would be where Judah would be, or the house of Judah would be in bondage. So before we get into this discussion in the book of Exodus, as you know from last week, Yahweh made a way for us to complete the book of Genesis.
Praise God.
Last Sabbath.
Yes.
So we know Joseph and the family, 70 deep, went into Egypt, right?
That's right.
So, okay, everything. So did the story end there? Well, we're here now with Exodus. And Brother Obi was going to give us a little discussion or a little, I guess, introduction to this book.
Yes, sir. The also what I was thinking about, Elder, what the Spirit brought was about you just mentioned about when in Genesis when we were reading, the angel came and he told Abraham.
That's right.
Abram, know it of a surety that your children will be strangers in the land. So Yahweh already revealed to him what was going to happen.
Right.
Right. So in Genesis chapter 46, before I even read the synopsis here, right, just the summary. In Genesis chapter 46, we have an example of this. The same thing happened. Chapter 46, just verses 1 through 5.
Okay.
Right? It says, and Israel took his journey with all that he had, and came to Beersheba and offered sacrifices unto the Elohim of his father Isaac.
Right.
And Elohim spake unto Israel in the visions of the night, and said, Jacob, Jacob. And he said, Here am I. And he said, I am Elohim, the Elohim of thy father. Fear not to go down into Egypt, for I will there make of thee a great nation.
Okay. Praise God. Praise God, brother.
And then he says, and I will go down with you into Egypt, and I will also surely bring you up again. And Joseph shall put his hand upon your eyes. And then verse 5, and Jacob rose up from Beersheba, and the sons of Israel carried Jacob their father and their little ones, and their wives and the wagons which Pharaoh had sent to carry him.
Praise
So
God.
we know he comforted him, but he also told him, look, you're going to become a mighty nation when I go, and I'm going to go with you out here and be with you in this place. So go. You know, fear.
Praise God, brother.
And you know, so
hallelujah.
It's a shadow of things to come. And this is how Yahweh do. He say, I don't do nothing until I reveal it to my servant.
That's right.
You know,
That's right. And Jacob certainly that servant.
And he came to him in the visions of the night. After he came and made that sacrifice.
That's right.
He came to him in his visions. He called him, hey, he said, go, Yaakov, you go down there.
Right.
Your son's going to touch your eyes. You know, all this. You know, he
Praise
comforted
God.
him, but he also showed him what's to come. And so we see that this is how Yahweh deals with his servants. And so we have a pattern of this.
Praise God, brother.
But you know what, my deacon, you're looking at that, we praise God for even opening our eyes, to see, even from when you mentioned Genesis 15, both of you.
Okay.
And, he said also, that nation whom they serve will I judge, and afterward they shall come up with great substance. So it's like a twofold thing.
Correct.
So this generation is that nation which he, beautiful, talking about with Abraham.
Yeah, to be very clear, we want to make sure going to in this, that was the near time. They're going to be in Egypt, literally. But then, what you were talking about, the prophecy of the vision that he gave him in Genesis 15, wasn't speaking of ancient Egypt and antiquity.
No.
It was speaking about this Egypt.
Yep.
So a near time and a far time Egypt.
Awesome.
But praise Yah for that, because when we look at how Yahweh reveals these things, he said he told that verse 4, what you just read. He says, I will go down with thee into Egypt, and I will also surely bring thee up again. So now, so you're talking about there's two things. Egypt, Jacob or Israel, we know he died in Egypt. And they brought him back to Canaan to bury him in the cave. Where his fathers were, right?
That's right.
But, are you bringing you up? He's talking about Israel. He's talking about his seed.
That's right.
Yeah, you will be brought back up. I'm going to bring them out of Egypt. So he's speaking almost to him as an individual, and then seeing that nation that he's going to create. I'm going to bring them up. They're coming up.
And he foretelling them.
He's telling this is going to happen.
This was going to happen.
So don't
all
freak out.
within that short little span, you showing them, look, this, because Yahweh declares the beginning.
From the
end. Declares the end from the beginning, right?
From the end.
And see how he come here, he said Exodus. He declared the end, Exodus. He's like, this is the beginning. No, that's what's going to happen.
Right. It's
going to be, because you know why? And I think that when Yahweh, he declares the end from the beginning. But it says, why? So you won't be able to give the glory to your idols.
That's right.
You won't be able to give the glory to yourself. But you can become an idol unto yourself.
Correct.
You think you're self-righteous.
Yeah, that's right.
I did this.
Right.
I did that. I got the job. I got the house. I got the money. I got me a wife. I got me a family. I did all these great things. El Babylon.
Right.
That's what he said. It's about the words Nebuchadnezzar.
He didn't even finish saying
the words in his mouth. The angel hit it. Bam!
Right.
Drove him crazy.
That's right.
Drove him crazy.
And then restore the kingdom back to him.
Oh man!
After 7 years, right?
Where did that ever happen?
What? You lose
as
your
covetous as people are for the throne, and people will kill you for the throne. He will restore it back.
They preserve his throne.
Yeah.
Who could do that? Where does that happen in history at?
See, this was only Yahweh can do that.
You don't lost your mind, and the people that coveting your throne, they kept them at bay. They couldn't do nothing. While you out there running around with your hair and fingernails and eating grass,
like birds,
just stone crazy.
Yeah.
So, but brother, praise Yah for. See, this is how the Spirit do things.
Praise Yah.
When we just let the Spirit have His way, because we can't worship Yahweh without the Spirit, the Holy Spirit with us to do these things. So again, the class is Exodus. But you're right. I caught you right in the middle of the sip.
I know, man. I know. Nation out
of a nation.
All right. Praise
So
God.
now let's talk about Exodus. But would you just give us a summary? For those of you who have not had an opportunity probably to read the book of Exodus or to read and study, Brother Obi's going to just give you a summary. I guess what you call it? You're going to give them a synopsis?
Yes, sir. All right, this is out of the Zondervan's Pictorial Bible Dictionary. It says, Exodus, the event which terminated the sojourn of Israel in Egypt. The family of Jacob, or Israel, voluntarily entered Egypt during a time of severe famine in Canaan. Joseph, who had been sold into slavery by jealous brothers, was then vizier of Egypt, and his Israelite brethren were assigned suitable land in the northeastern section of Egypt, which is known as Goshen. When a new dynasty arose, which knew not Joseph, i.e., for example, forgot what he had done for Egypt, the Israelites were reduced to the status of slaves. So even they acknowledged that they weren't slaves the entire time.
Exactly. Exactly, brother.
Okay, praise Him.
It says,
there it is, right there.
That is a lot of information.
Yeah, right.
Fearful lest they should prove sympathetic with foreign invaders, Pharaoh ordered the male children destroyed. The infant Moses, however, was placed in an ark of bulrushes, where he was seen by Pharaoh's daughter, who ordered that he be rescued. Raised in the royal court, Moses chose to turn his back on the possibilities of advancement in Egypt in order to lead his oppressed people into freedom.
Okay, praise God for that, brother. And that's why we, and you're reading from the Zondervan.
Yes, sir.
The Zondervan Pictorial Bible Dictionary.
Yes.
And that's why we tell you to go ahead and get you some resources to help you in your study. Because as Brother Obi said in the past, other times, well, it's one thing to read, it's another thing to study and to take time. Because when you start studying something on your own, and you are the foundation, and you yourself are your own foundation, man, you're going to get caught up. You're going to mess, and particularly if you are a Christian orientation, it's going to be very hard to read this book and get an understanding.
Correct.
But guess what? It's the Christians, but similarly, it was the Christians, people, beliefs, the Europeans, whoever, who put these books together. Yahweh gave them a spirit to collect the data.
That's right.
To make studying easier. So Yahweh did this, so what? He can make it accessible for you and I today. So there's no need for you to be ignorant, biblically ignorant.
Correct.
Really, it isn't. There's too much information out there.
No excuse in these times.
Not in these times. That's my opinion.
Right.
So with that synopsis, when you said they were reduced to the level of slaves, but when it starts out in that section, it says they were given the best land.
That's right.
In the northeastern part of Egypt, in Goshen, right? So they didn't come. They said they voluntarily went into Egypt.
They walked into Egypt.
They said voluntarily.
Go into Egypt. I'm gonna make a great nation out of it.
Right.
Yeah.
So if they would, so that cannot be the 400 years of slavery that was talked about in the about that was given to Abraham in Genesis 15. Could you go there real quick, brother, again, and let's read that. Let's read that. Since you're gonna Genesis 15, verse 13.
Yeah, I'll pick about verse 13 and take it to verse 16. Let me know when you're ready, my brother. Genesis chapter 15, verse 13. Verse 13. And he said unto Abraham, know of a surety that thy seed shall be a stranger in a land that is not theirs, and shall serve them, and they shall afflict them 400 years. And also that nation whom they shall serve will I judge, and afterward shall they come out with great substance, and thou shalt go to thy fathers in peace. Thou shalt be buried in a good old age. But in the 4th generation they shall come hither again, for the iniquity of the Amorites is not yet full.
Okay, praise God. So you were listening to what Brother Obadiah read out of the Zondervan's dictionary, and when he went back into the book of Genesis with Jacob, when you spoke about Jacob, the angel went to Jacob and told him, go, You go in, etc. When you see this, that it's clearly they're not going into bondage into Egypt. Like you said, when you read that,
right,
and and what you just read in the synopsis in the dictionary, and what brother Uriah, you just read again, that they're going to be afflicted for 400 years.
Yes.
So when they went in, that's when you start counting.
Yeah.
You don't start counting the slavery that Abraham is being talked about or showed here in Genesis 15 is from the beginning. The whole time you're in Egypt, you're going to be afflicted.
correct. That's not what was stated.
And we know that is just the latter part, after 430 years when they stayed, they were slaves, maybe about 80 to about 120.
Right. And when, like I said, and when we get to that, and we're going to get to that, and that's key. But at the beginning, you see it from the very beginning.
That's right.
So keep this in mind as we begin. I want to make sure we gave you a little synopsis of what is to come by Brother Obi. We've distinguished the fact that they're coming into Egypt. They're not as enslaved. They later become slaves. But in the beginning, they are free men. And they are guests of the Pharaoh.
That's
Joseph is governor or vizier. Right?
That's right.
So they got the best land. Right?
That's right.
And there's only 70 of them. First of all, let's understand. There's 70 people, the family, and obviously there's going to be procreation, there's going to be women, there's going to be people. So we don't get all that in the story. But if someone tells you that this is the 400-year captivity that Abraham, what you were just kind of explaining, what you were explaining, you said, no, it cannot be the 400-year captivity of Genesis 15, 13 through 16.
That's right.
This is not that captivity. That's a far off captivity to come.
But you know what, my elder, what I look at, how can you be a nation and you in another man country? You see what I'm saying? To be a real nation, you have to have your own government. You have to have your own kingdom. You have to have your own constitution too. Even though we know today, this book that we call the Bible here is our constitution.
Correct.
So we're going to take it back home and walk, by the instruction that is written in our constitution, which we call the Bible.
And I'm going to just, like you said, clarify that, because they didn't have, look at Egypt, they didn't get the law right then in Egypt.
Correct.
The miracle is when the miracle is how Yahweh preserved his people.
That's right.
In that land of Egypt that we're talking about. The miracle is how Yahweh has preserved us within the land here.
In this land.
In this land.
Yeah.
Right. See, those are the miracles, because you're supposed to be genocided out.
That's right.
When I say genocide, you were supposed to have been worked to death.
That's right.
That's right.
There should be no history of you.
Yep.
No knowledge that we are the shame of the United States.
That's right.
When we looked at, that's when the book talks about her shame. We're her shame. When they see us, they remind them of what their fathers, that they were not a great people. They were not such a righteous people.
That's right.
They're not such a glorious people. They're not a moral people. They're not a good people. Because you started out in blood. Right?
That's right.
And we're here as the progeny.
Living testimony.
A living testimony
Of course.
of what you've done.
Of course.
But instead of showing mercy, they get mad. Get mad at you. Yeah, we have civil liberties. But that's okay. But look at what happened. We're going to see that what happened to Pharaoh. They get angry and angry at you.
Yeah.
But so that and I'm not really correcting you, but Elder, but I'm just saying, making sure that you got to have. We do have a government, but you got to be brought back into
your own land.
Not only your own land, but here. This is what Yahweh is calling you to do here in America. And you know what? He's calling you. You got to get yourself right here.
Correct.
Of course.
But Deuteronomy, OB, let's go to Deuteronomy 4.
Great foundation.
Yeah, let's show why you got to get yourself together in America. Because I want you to go to Deuteronomy 4. And again, we went there, but it's going to show you, we went there before we went on the air. Right?
Yes, sir.
And this is when Moses is declaring the end from the beginning, like you said, brother. He's telling them this is what's going to happen to you. Yahweh's prophet Moshe is telling the children of Israel the end from the beginning.
That's right.
And he said, yeah, you're going to get in the land, but if you read from Deuteronomy 4, verse 27 to 30.
Okay. Verse 27. And Yahweh shall scatter you among the nations, and you shall be left few in number among the heathen, whither Yahweh shall lead you. And there you shall serve gods, the work of men's hands, wood and stone, which neither see, nor hear, nor eat, nor smell. But if from thence thou shalt seek Yahweh thy Elohim, thou shalt find him, if thou seek him with all thy heart and with all thy soul.
Okay.
When thou art in tribulation, and all these things are come upon thee, even in the latter days, if thou turn to Yahweh thy Elohim, and shall be obedient unto his voice.
So, just that's what I'm saying.
That's right.
Before you get the law in this land, you are strangers in this land. We're all sojourners. We're captives. We've been here. We don't have no memory of anything else but this land. Yahweh's giving us our memory back by these scriptures.
Of course,
that's right.
Right? So he's telling you, and Uriah was saying it correctly. We gotta take this with us whenever Yahweh determined to deliver us.
Correct.
But before there is a procedure. But he's wanting to wake up some of us before that time. That means you got to call on him now. You got to start seeking Yahweh now.
That's right.
In this land, right? In the land of your captivity.
That's right.
You know, and that's what I was talking about. You got to call on him. And brother, while we doing this, I'm thinking about it by the Spirit. 2 Kings 8.
Praise yeah.
Praise yeah.
Because that's where we have to begin to understand what Yahweh's prophets. I think this is what is it? 1 Kings 8. I apologize. I think it's 1 Kings 8. That's what is the temple.
Dedication.
The dedication of the temple. Is that right? Did I get it right? I think that's it.
Yeah, that's when the ark is brought in.
Yeah, that's it. And so what we have to let me find here.
Prayer of Shalom.
Let me see. Let me get you here. The heat of heaven. Because 2 Kings 8, verse 44, Uriah. Deacon Uriah, Elder Uriah. 1 Kings chapter 8.
Okay. 44.
It's First Kings.
It's 1 Kings. I apologize. Yeah. 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 44. And it's just kind of showing you this is the dedication of the temple. And Shlomo is praying, right?
That's right.
Dedicating this temple. And but it's prophetic as well.
That's right.
It's a prayer, but it's prophetic. Yahweh's telling him something. He's declaring the end from the beginning.
The beginning. That's right. That's right, now, Elder.
If you want to start at 44, wherever you want to start at.
I'll pick up at 44. We're in the book of 1 Kings chapter 8, verse 44. If thy people go out to battle against their enemy, or whithersoever thou shalt send them, and shalt pray unto Yahweh towards the city which thou hast chosen, and towards the house that I have built for thy name, then hear thou in heaven their prayer and their supplication, and maintain their cause. If they sin against thee, for there is no man that sinneth not, and thou be angry with them, and deliver them to the enemy, so that they carry them away captive unto the land of the enemies, far or near.
Pause. So we've been carried away far.
Correct.
Very, very,
Very
far.
far.
Correct.
Right? This is not far what it is.
And you know what, now, Ellen, they were so clever, the way they dispatched us, away. If you look back in secular history,
Right.
it is, they will take this generation, to point A, the foreign generation, the generation that come after, they will take them to location B.
That's right.
So they cannot get to pass down that oral.
Exactly.
You see what I'm saying?
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
That's right.
So you know the third, yeah.
Auction blocks.
I'm telling you.
Exactly.
That was very decisive.
I'm telling you, man, that was well planned.
They dealt wisely.
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 See.
They know what they were doing.
Yeah. So
Like you said.
yeah, our people. Verse 47. Verse 47. We're in the book of 1 King chapter 8, verse 47. Yet, if they shall bethink themselves in the land whither they were carried captive, and repent,
Okay.
and make supplication unto thee in the land of them that carried them captive, saying, we have sinned and have done perversely, we have committed wickedness.
Don't you see what you got to start doing now?
That's right.
It's not later. It's now. You might be left here in the ground. Right? But you know what? But you better make sure your heart right, that you are under the blood of Mashiach. But it's on you. We just read in Deuteronomy 4.
Yep.
If you come to your right mind and bethink yourself,
Right.
Of course.
just come to your right mind.
And confess those.
And confess those things, brother.
In the land of your captivity.
In the land of your captivity. Not on the boats. We're going to the wilderness. No, that don't happen like that. It may not happen that way with you, but it may happen that way with others. But Yahweh do all things.
Yeah.
Correct.
But if you're hearing this, it's obvious for you to hear it.
That's right.
If you're not under the blood already. But continue, brother.
Verse 48. And so return unto thee with all their hearts and with all their soul in the land of their enemies, which led them away captive, and pray unto thee towards their land, which thou gavest unto their fathers, the city which thou hast chosen, the house which I have built for thy name.
That's definitely. So when you begin to look at this word going from, it's the same in Deuteronomy 4, he says that in Deuteronomy 4, what did he say? The prophet, he says in Deuteronomy 4, verse 30, when thou art in tribulation, verse 30, when thou art in tribulation and all these things come upon thee, even in the latter days, we're in the latter days. If thou turn to Yahweh thy Elohim, and shall be obedient unto his voice, then he said he's going to hear from you. He's not going to forsake you. Right? So the same thing is here in Deuteronomy 4. It's written in 1 Kings. Right? This is the nation has become a big nation. So Yahweh is consistent. Go ahead, brother.
Okay, you want me to?
No. You were looking at me. You want to ask me something.
No, but you know what? I was thinking that
something.
Moshe even said it best when he was redoing the law to his people. I don't know if I can read a little part in Deuteronomy chapter 31.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here.
This is like the final warning to the people. He knew that they was going to mess up.
Right.
But at the same time, it was like, no, we're not going to mess up. No, you're going to mess up. Even after my death. Yeah. But turn back to the words because they are spirit. Let me pick it up at 24. That's where in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 31, verse 24. And it came to pass when Moshe had made an end of reading the word, the word of this law in a book, until they were finished, that Moshe commanded the Levite which bear the ark of the covenant of Yahweh, saying, take this book of the law and put it inside of the ark of the covenant of Yahweh your Elohim, that it may be there for our weakness against us. For I know thy rebellion and thy stiff neck. Behold, while I'm yet alive with you this day, you have been rebellious against Yahweh. And how much more after my death? Gather unto me all the elders of your tribes and your officers, that I may speak these words in their ears, and call heaven and earth to record against them. For I know that after my death, you will utterly corrupt yourselves and turn aside from the way which I have commanded you, and evil which befall you in the latter days. Because you will do evil in the sight of Yahweh to provoke him to anger through the work of your hands. And Moshe spake in the ear of all the congregation of Israel the word of this song until they were ended.
Okay. Praise God.
Yeah.
Praise God. And see, and praise God. And these are, these are the things that happen after the Exodus. But, but again, the critical thing is for us to start doing things now in this captivity. That's so we went there to Deuteronomy 4 and 1 Kings 8, and we're talking about these things so you can have an understanding that you have to start making changes now. You got to start seeking Yahweh. It's already been written.
That's right.
What you're going to do. Right? So there's nothing you've done as individuals is going to shock Yahweh.
Of course, I surprise anyone.
But
you know what I'm saying?
Right. So I think that's the key right there. When you're looking at the book of Exodus, these things are already written. But again, you got to start, just because we're reading these words, that don't mean they're going to do anything to you. Because if you got a hard heart, it don't matter. If you're tired of hearing certain things, it's not going to matter. But if you're listening, if you're tuned in, obviously Yahweh wants you to hear something. So we try to just do these things in a manner, because this is something I say, okay, let's go here. Because again, what are you going to do? You got to seek Yahweh. You got to do something. You got to confess your sins and the sins of your fathers. We can go through this book and not start the class, but we are in the class. Don't get us wrong. But the Leviticus, all these things, you have to confess your sins, your father's sins, and your sins. That you have walked contrary to Yahweh, right? And he's walked contrary to us.
That's correct.
As a people,
That's
right?
correct.
But there's a reason for this contrariness. There's a reason for everything. So now, at this point of our history, we're coming into Exodus. We're coming into Egypt. Correct. We are, our fathers came in. They have done no wrong before Yahweh. As you just read, Brother Obi, it was told him, go on in. Jacob, don't you worry about going, because he's an old man. Right. He consoled him, but he prophesied to him. That's right. I'm going to make a great nation out of you. Right? So let's get to work and let's see what is happening, what has happened to the children of Israel, the 70 souls that left Canaan and went into Egypt to be with their brother. That's right. Their brother, Joseph, and we know Jacob has died. So let's see what's happening. Let's go to, I think you read Uriah. Let's go ahead and start it off in the book of Exodus, chapter 1.
Exodus, chapter 1, verse 1. Now these are the names of the children of Israel which came into Egypt. Every man and his household came with Jacob. Reuben, Simeon, Levi, Yehudah, Issachar, Zebulun, and Benjamin, Dan and Naphtali, Gad and Asher, and all the souls that came out of the loins of Jacob were 70 souls, for Joseph was in Egypt already. Verse 6, and Joseph died, and all his brethren, and all that generation. The children of Israel, verse 7, the children of Israel were fruitful and increased abundantly, and multiplied and waxed exceedingly mighty, and the land was filled with them. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we.
So let's pause right there. Verse 7, it lets you know that they've been there for a while. Because they have populated, they're fruitful. And they said, well, did they just interbreed among themselves? Well, obviously they took women of the land in Egypt. That's common sense. They're just not going to be genetically fused together. Some people, let's think. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
Joseph had an Egyptian wife.
Correct.
Of course.
So now what do you want to say, brother?
No, I was saying, no, we are a nation.
Yeah, we're becoming a nation, a
Right.
population of people. Yes,
Yeah.
it's becoming a nation now.
Mhm.
But you got to have, but he's fulfilling what Yahweh prophesied to Yaakov.
That's right.
Mhm.
What we read in the beginning.
And then
Okay.
We wax mighty is exceeding mighty.
Right.
That's
He
right.
said they filled up in Goshen with them. The land. They said the land of Goshen is filled with them.
Mm.
That's where they are.
So this is becoming a threat now.
Oh, yeah.
You can imagine that.
Mhm.
Definitely.
Verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely.
Let's start over. Let's start over. I think let's go back to 8,
Okay.
and then let's read it again.
Exodus chapter 1, verse 8. Now there arose up a new king over Egypt, which knew not Joseph. And he said unto his people, Behold, the people of the children of Israel are more and mightier than we. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply. And it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and sow them up out of the land.
So now I did a new moon last year or so, maybe a couple of years ago, where on this topic, because come on, let us deal with them wisely. And the term wise or wisely is not necessarily evil.
Correct.
It just means you're doing something with reasoning. You're reasoning about something. You're looking at something, and you're dealing with them wisely. Because obviously, if you have people in your land, there's so many of them, hundreds of years later, they're there, and they're looking stronger and stronger.
Right.
You have to do something. With your people, you don't know. They may get with the enemy and come attack you, right? So they're having a wise discussions among themselves as a people.
The Pharaoh had advisors.
He had advisors.
He had counselors, and they come into him and say, hey, man, you got to check this out. You know, these people, that's what the advisors would do.
Exactly.
A king, he didn't just move by himself.
Right.
They're giving him wise counsel.
Right.
You know?
So if you don't, so when you reject your counsel, now when the thing jump off is on you.
That's right.
And that's individual, group, nation, whatever.
Yeah.
Sometimes you can say, hey, you do this. I don't want to do that. But again, you got to look at it. If you were in the country we're in right now, they keep us in check. You don't get out of control here.
That's right. They keep
Let's be honest.
That's right.
And you've been here since the time they got here. You've been here since 1619.
Of course.
Our fathers have. They came to this land. And then when you go outside of the mainland, longer than that. So they're doing a conference. They're not just demonic.
Right.
No, they're going to do some evil. It's going to be evil toward us, bad to all our fathers. But they're thinking this thing through.
Absolutely.
Because sometimes wars are jumped off by this. You know, you got certain things. I'm not going to go into what's going on today, but you have to look at things from both sides. You got to see what side, how the enemy sees something that you call the enemy. Right. Your enemy may see it another way. Right.
Yep.
And they may take preemptive actions. Right.
And you may think it's them being offensive, and it could be defensive.
It could be defensive.
Just by you not taking the time to hear their side.
Exactly. So we have to be wise ourselves. And I'm sorry.
No.
Okay. But we have to be wise ourselves. So this is a good. So these things here are very. You just can't gloss over this discussion.
You know, one way I've seen them, show us that they are really wise is, they will throw us a little meat when they see a flare up, just to calm us down.
Right.
They do things wisely among themselves.
Right.
Okay, let's give them a little,
Right.
Keep them calm.
to keep them calm.
Exactly.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. And you can look back over the history in Africa, on the continent of Africa, West Africa. We talk about certain things about Africa, and Africa is a continent. It's not a country. So I'm not just speaking about every country, but where our fathers were brought out of into bondage, you look at they entered into agreements with the European traders.
Yeah.
They, the Africans did, the Hamitic Africans. They entered into trade agreements with them. The Europeans needed workers. They needed slaves. And they knew that the African and Hamitic people dealt in slavery among themselves. But they knew that they sold, on the East Coast, they sold slaves to the Arabs. Now the question is, were the Hamitic Africans wise businessmen, screwed? Because it wasn't based on race and skin color, but they didn't think too good about what was going on. They couldn't see or perceive that one day, by dealing with trading with these people now, hundreds of years later, by the time the slave trade got really good, that they were going to be in a one-sided deal, that they can't stop doing it. Now you're caught up. And then by the time slavery ended in America, the Europeans decided to just go over there now. We're going to just colonize you now.
Correct.
So now you're weak. You didn't get none of the benefits of the industrialization or the developments that the Europeans had wrought over time.
So the Europeans were dealing wisely.
They dealt wisely with them.
Absolutely.
The Europeans had fought among themselves forever. That's all they did in Europe was fight. But they had a mind to come to, when they dealt with the outer world, they saw, oh, we got to come together. We got to get along on this business. Because Europe is not going to be, we're not going to be able to deal with the whole world unless we can deal with things wisely. Even with our church, the Catholic Church, we're going to work it out. Work us a deal. We'll divide the whole continent up. We'll divide the whole world up. And that's what it's at. That's why you are here today.
That's right.
That's why you are Christians. You're Christians because of things that were done wisely. Long time ago. So, so when you're seeing these Egyptians here that we're reading about, they're looking at things from a nationalistic perspective. They're looking at their empire. They're looking at everything. They want to maintain control. They're not going to allow strangers to come in and overrun them.
So you're thinking from they own the land.
It's our land.
Us being out of our land so long,
we don't understand what that's like.
We're not considering that.
We don't consider. We don't consider those discussions. Even when we look at current politics, we don't even understand what it's like to have geopolitical conflict.
Correct.
Because we just look at the side that we're living in. And we can't do no wrong, so to speak, arguably. But brother, let's continue and let's see that when they say here, come on, let us deal with them wisely, right? Let's read 10 again and let's continue, because again, this is going to make a big, the decision that they're doing, that Pharaoh's doing, is going to have significant implications for Egypt. And for us.
Absolutely, man. We're in the book of Exodus, chapter 1, verse 10. Come on, let us deal wisely with them, lest they multiply, and it come to pass that when there falleth out any war, they join also unto our enemies, and fight against us, and so get them up out of the land.
Get them up out of here. That's right. Get them out of here. Let's go.
Let's go. Verse 11. But if I should say something, man, I don't really want to get deep in their mess, but isn't the same thing that guy Putin is trying to do over there too?
Well, that's why I didn't want to get into detail about it.
That's
because I don't want to get, because
conflict.
you got to read that for yourself. That's what we try to do here. That's why I said you have to look at the political things yourself. You make your own decision.
So you can't follow propaganda.
You gotta
do research. Like you were saying,
you gotta do research.
Both sides.
Understand both sides.
Exactly. And if you're gonna be a wise man,
if you're gonna speak on the matter,
you're gonna speak on the matter. You know both situations.
You don't know both sides.
You don't choose a side.
You don't have a right to have an opinion.
I
mean, everybody has an opinion, but you don't have a right to voice an opinion. I mean, people do what they please, but you haven't heard both sides.
Exactly.
There's no wisdom in that.
Exactly. There's no wisdom because most people don't understand, this is just historical, nothing political. You have to understand, first of all, you got to understand American history.
Correct.
Over the since 1945, since World War II ended.
That's right.
You got to understand what has taken place when the Cold War the Cold War with the Soviet Union, USSR, and the formation of NATO, the North Atlantic Treaty Organization with the Western Europeans. You got to know what was going on with the Soviet Union and the Warsaw Pact.
Correct.
That was their military group agreement, and what took place in those proxy wars over time, Cold Wars. That was the communists, the North versus the South.
Yep.
The communists in the North, like Korea and South Korea, Vietnam in the North, South Vietnam. That was all proxy wars for the Cold War. But there was a hot war between Russia and the United States. This is Cold War, and they fought by proxy. They fought these proxy wars in Africa. They had so many, Africa couldn't get on its feet before they got their little countries of independence. They got caught up in those communists versus the West battles, all the way down to the Caribbean, obviously Cuba, down to Central America, South America. So that was a long time. You have to understand all that stuff before you can sit down intelligently and talk about it.
I make a right decision.
And you got to understand the history of Russia in and of itself. Going back through from Stalin to Lenin, right? Back to the czars, and back to Russia is the biggest country in the world.
That's right.
It's a big landmass.
That's right.
So you got a
major supplier.
It's a supplier. Exactly. So and Yahweh has created this to where all countries are trading. It's one. It's pretty much there's no more barriers. There's no economic barriers unless they erect them through to military conflict. So, and I'm not gonna give everybody a governmental thing, but that's right. When you say food, because we don't get into that discussion. That's why I wanted to keep it. I didn't say his name specifically because it's only relevant when it comes to this book. And when you begin to see the prophetic things and how they fit in prophecy.
That's correct.
We haven't gotten to that part yet.
That's
but
correct.
our concern is how it be prophetically affecting Israel. That's what it's all matters.
That's what it's all. That's what I'm talking about.
How's it going to affect us?
That's right.
In the latter days.
Knowing that our redemption is nigh unto us. So get yourself together.
Bingo. That's it.
That's what I'm talking about.
Exactly. So when we look at what's going on in the world? Well, like I said, my own personal opinion, I said black people in America should be the most intelligent people in this country when it comes to history and politics about the Constitution. We should all have a copy of the U.S. Constitution on us. We should know more about the law when it comes, because we have been excluded.
That's right.
The Constitution was formed. You were not even considered a human being. It was so. Now that Yahweh brought you out of captivity, you don't want to read a book.
Come on.
You don't want to read the book, the Bible. You don't want to read that book. You don't want to read a history book.
Come on.
Of America or anybody. It's like you're anti-intellectual.
Right.
And guess what? And there are people, they want you to be anti-intellectual.
This is by design.
That's by design. And there are also people that you might be calling yourself worshiping with. They want you to be ignorant.
Yes.
They want you to know nothing, too much of nothing, because when they speak, you don't have no reference.
Right.
They're the smartest man in the room or woman. Right. Well,
they subject power and
right.
People.
Knowledge is power.
That's right.
And if you don't have the knowledge of the Most High, Paul talked about that. I ain't gonna go there, but Paul talked about that when he was in 2 Corinthians. He said, "Oh, y'all love to be mistreated.
Right.
Y'all like it. When they take advantage of you. But let me brag about myself a little bit, because it seems that you suffer fools. So when they taking advantage of you in the church, you like them. You like it when they're doing this to you and that to you. But when I speak the truth, now you get mad at me.
Right. See,
that's how we are. We'll sit right up in there and be abused. Amen.
Hallelujah.
And you like that. Lied to, deceived, manipulated. And Paul speaks, this book speaks that if you go back, but the thing about it is you got to read the book like we're doing right now. Line upon line. By the time you get to the Gospels and Epistles, you can understand what Paul is saying. Yeah, because if you don't understand it, you know what I'm saying? Oh,
What does Shlomo say in Proverbs? How long you simple will you love simplicity?
that's it. Praise God, brethren.
Yeah.
Praise God.
And
That's what I'm, and that's how long will you enjoy, how long you gonna be simple?
He doesn't want us to be simple-minded. Yeah.
How long will you be simple? Well, if that's what he don't want you to be simple-minded. He wants you to elevate your thoughts.
Correct.
He wants you to elevate your, how you, I love this book because it's showing me, it shows us how to see things. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But let's continue.
Things.
Yeah, but let's continue. But like you can see, our where we went, we get in here, and it's time. Like we got here, when you brought up Putin, but that was showing you this. You have to sit down and do some study. But when you study, make sure you know what you're reading. Get you some other citations. Yeah. If I put something on the internet, a maniac could be writing that.
That's right.
Yeah.
You don't know who. You got to get some other sources. You have to get certain. I think we had. I got it here. There was an article that is. We talked about it, brothers. And we're not going to present it here, but we talked about it. It was dealing with DNA, right? And about the genetics. It was entitled "The Missing Link of Jewish European Ancestry." Contrasting the Rhineland and the Khazarian hypothesis. It's written by this brother by the name of this man by the name of Iran Elhak, and it was published in the it was published by the Oxford University Press on behalf of the Society of Molecular Biology and Evolution. Now, when you read this academic article published in peer-reviewed journals means that before they published it, they had to send that article to various other scholars in the area who are experts to let them read it, and they could make comments to the author and say, you're weak in this area. Tighten this up. Tighten that up.
Right.
Yeah. And once you do this, okay, it'll be good for publication. We'll approve it.
Good to go to
the
press.
But as we know, in the back of that article, though, you got what is called a bibliography, a citations, based on what he did his research on.
Right.
A citation.
Yes.
Right. I referred to Dr. Obadiah, who published such and such, and I cited brother Dr. Uriah's work on such and such, and da-da-da, because now, when I read it, I ain't got to take it at face value. I can go pull your article. He cites to you. Let's see, what does he mean when he cites to you? Correct. He cited to you. All these different studies and all these different other books and stuff. So therefore, when you come to somebody, right, and say, this is this, right? Well, it's not that they're going to look at you. I don't rebuff people. That's what we do here.
That's right.
We say, well, okay, brother, well, let us fall back and think about that. Show us what you did your research on. Okay. Correct. Help educate us. Right. Right? So we can go back. I should be able to go back and read what you review your sources and come to the same conclusion. I can see your conclusion. Correct. But then I can also be able to then say, well, you discussed this, but there's some other things you didn't raise in your article. And these brothers, there's some other brothers and sisters who have wrote this about the same topic. Correct. Why didn't you raise those issues? Because it makes your argument weak if you don't bring up those people as well. That's right. So you know how we do, brother. Yeah. You know how I am, and you know how we do. We sit here, we go back and forth. Back and forth. But the iron sharp is what? Iron. That's right. That's right, so, man. So that makes you say, well, I ain't never thought about that. Or I have to just be quiet sometime. Yeah. Now, we talked the other night. Yeah. I gave you an opportunity. We were discussing the issue, but I had to be quiet. And okay, let me stop jumping to conclusion. Let Elder Uriah and Elder Uriah walk me through what his position was. Correct. He took me through it. He took me through the verses. He took me where he wanted to go. He took me, and I'm like, huh? But then he took it back. I'm patient. So now I know where the brother's coming from. Correct. I took the time to listen to let him lay out his position scripturally. It doesn't necessarily mean I immediately agree, but I understand now. So now I have to go back we read and meditate on what he showed me.
Right. See what the Spirit brings.
That's what the Spirit brings me. And I can go back to Uriah. And that's the same thing with you. Yeah. That's how we do. We're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
We live in the modern world.
Yeah.
You don't live 3,000 years ago.
Nope.
Stop acting like you lived 3,000 years ago. You live in the 21st century.
Yeah. Information is right on your tip by your finger. Yeah.
So when somebody tells you something, well, it's not that they're offended, but we have been we live in an enlightened time. So you can't just come to somebody and say blah blah blah.
Right.
Well, prove it.
And that's what people fail to do.
Yep.
They take things at face value and they don't challenge, or not challenge, but question. Prove it. I mean, this is what needs to be done.
Are we not trying to do it?
This is what we have to do.
Yeah.
Prove all things. Are we not going to the beginning of the book?
Yes, sir.
In Genesis?
Of course.
Right?
That's right.
And we've covered some things through the grace of Yahweh, but we got to go. So now we're showing you through the prophets, we're showing you that these things to support this gospel. Because it's the gospel of Yahshua that we're in. And that reminds me, I didn't read our I didn't close about I didn't read what we're about.
What we're all about. That's all right.
But praise Yah. But it's all about the Mashiach here.
Yeah.
That's right.
The gospel. Everything points to the Messiah.
Everything.
Why are you going to call on Yahweh? You say Yahweh, Yahweh, Yahweh. We understand that, but you want to bring to nullity his son. What he says.
See.
And Yahweh has made it very easy. Well, I hear you. But you got to go through, I hear everything. But now if you want me to hear those prayers and if you want to deal with me, you got to go through Messiah.
Right. It's the same structure. It's the same. It's
like
the legal structure. Like we were just referencing that. But Satan accuses the brethren day and night. So this would sit in the seat like the prosecuting attorney.
That's right, brother.
Right? And then Yahshua being the defense attorney, he defends.
Right.
And he intercedes on our behalf and says, well, Your Honor, or Father.
Yeah, he's the judge.
He's the judge. Give him a chance, and so we're seeing the same structure. And then Yahweh is the judge. Even Yahshua said, I ain't going to judge you. But there is one that's judges.
Oh, yes.
And there's a time for all things.
Yes, sir.
So, we see the structure. So it's beautiful to see. So, like you say, our people rejecting law or understanding of law, it's our wisdom, our knowledge, and our understanding in the sight of the nations. That's why Yahweh gave us law.
Indeed.
And so, like our Uriah say, the Constitution. Well,
that's it.
The law is our Constitution. This book is our Constitution. This is how our nation will be able to be founded. And to be able to continue on, and
that's
prosper and be blessed. But this is the foundation. Yeah,
it's the foundation. So, brother, and that's why we're looking. This is the beginning. Exodus, a nation, what? Out of a nation.
Of a nation. Praise Him.
So, brother, praise y'all for that. I'm glad you put. That's a great metaphor or a great symbol. Prosecuting Satan on the prosecuting side, accusing the brethren. The Mashiach, the Mashiach, who's our defense attorney, he's defending you. He's standing in before and the Father is the ultimate judge.
That's right.
And you got the court reporter taking everything down you do.
The angels right there.
Angels writing everything.
He said,
hey, read that back.
I got this.
Did he repent? Did he repent? Yeah, he repented. Yeah, he didn't confess that. Okay. Go ahead, brother. Praise y'all. Go on with this class, man. Verse 11.
Yeah, we're in the book of Exodus, chapter 1. We'll pick it up at verse 11. Therefore, they did set over them taskmasters to afflict them with their burdens. And they built for Pharaoh treasured cities, Pithom and Ramses. But the more they afflict them, the more they multiply and grew. And they were grieved because of the children of Israel.
But brother, didn't Yahweh tell Abraham that?
That's right.
They're going to be afflicted?
Of course.
Here's the affliction.
That's right.
Here's part of the affliction in this captivity.
Verse 13. And the Egyptian made the children of Israel to serve with rigor, and they made their lives bitter with hard bondage in mortar, and in brick, and in all manner of service in the field. all their service wherein they made them serve was with rigor. And the king of Egypt spake to the Hebrew midwives, of which the name of one was Shiphrah, and the name of the other Pur. And he said, when you do the office of a midwife to the Hebrew women, and see them upon the stools, if it be a son, then you shall kill them. But if it be a daughter, then she shall live. Verse 17. But the midwives feared Elohim, and did not as the king of Egypt commanded them, but saved the man-child alive.
Well, let me ask a question. Why did Pharaoh say to destroy the men children? Let's talk about that.
See, you kill a seed. This is how
The
you
whole
destroy the
nation.
Yeah. So I mean, was this genocide, or was it in a sense? I mean, you're exterminating a nation.
Exactly.
And you're removing by destroying the male seed.
Right.
By design.
Right. And, you know, we've learned this. Praise God for this blessing, because we know now the seed carries the nation. Right, of his people. You are what your father is. Right, and that's one of the reasons they tried their best in a way to pollute the seed here in America, in this slavery here. But Yahweh, he know how to preserve his seed, his people.
Correct.
But you get rid of the men, they can take the women,
Right,
the Hebrew women,
and absorb them among them.
right? Because now they become you.
Yeah,
that's right.
Because you're bringing forth their seed.
Correct.
Don't y'all understand that? So, and no, we are not the white slave masters in the Americas did not rape all of the black women and impregnate them. Because if that's the case, there would be no Israel.
That's right.
that's right.
That we would be frauds.
Yeah.
We would be a mixed mingled seed, but we would not be the line of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob.
Correct.
So Yahweh has preserved that. Yes, there has been some commingling, but many of us, I'm mixed with, no, you don't know. No. We were not all the same complexion when we got off those slave ships.
Correct.
First of all.
That's right.
We didn't all have the same grade of hair when we got off the slave ships. See, stop the propaganda.
Yeah.
You use that term.
Yeah.
Stop buying the propaganda and open a book.
Don't be simple-minded.
Stop being simple-minded.
Oh.
Right.
When are you going to be stop being simple-minded?
What they used to call us, the closest name that they gave us, it was a byword still, but they said color.
Color. And that was true.
It was a bunch of colors.
Color.
You see it,
Right.
They say Israel's a speckled bird.
Exactly.
Yeah.
On my birth certificate, I'm colored. And on my brother's birth certificate, I think my older brother, Negro, it all depends when the time period.
Yeah.
So they'll throw color out there. So, but they were looking, they had a caste system.
Yeah.
Blacks, colors, whatever, and whites. So that's just the way it is. But here, where were you at in verse 17? Where were you?
At the end.
Yeah. So they wanted to do. Yeah, it was genocide.
Yeah.
That's what it was. But not by killing the women. But we're going to keep the women.
Right.
For themselves.
Yeah, you can have them. That's my son. You know, that's my seed.
That's right.
Right? So, but the sisters, Shiphrah and Puah, feared Yahweh.
And that's the thing that you don't read of it, or it's not that we don't read it, but it's never spoken of the things that the sisters have done.
Oh,
great
great work. Great work.
Come on now.
The king
king
made a decree. He hires you and gives you a position, and you just disobeyed his command directly.
Right.
Because they feared Yahweh.
You know what the judgment is?
See?
It's death.
Death. But we're going to read that they went back and they were very wise.
They were very wise.
When they answered, we see how they answer. So
So, but that's deep. Let's start at 17 again. We're gonna keep it going. This is a beautiful, not say beautiful, but this is showing you that wisdom, what Yahweh is doing.
This is our story.
Praise Yahweh.
Put it that way. Verse 17. But the midwives fear Elohim and did not, as the king of Egypt commanded them,
right?
But saved the men children alive.
Praise Yahweh.
Verse 18. And the king of Egypt called for the midwives and said unto them, Why have you done this thing, and have saved the men children alive? And the midwives said unto Pharaoh, because the Hebrew women are not as the Egyptian women, for they are lively and are delivered ere the midwives come into unto them.
See, we're a different kind of people.
Mm-hmm.
See, you can't say all black people are the same people because we're not Ethiopian, we're not Eritrean, we're not Zimbabwean, and when you look at the colors, because that's a different thing. We're a different nation, and we have proven. It's been proven in this country without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
And in this whole hemisphere, that we're very strong people.
That's right.
If anything, they're different. They're strong.
Right.
And this is showing you another example. And they threw it up, but they were saying, hey, the Egyptian women, they ain't like the Egyptian women. They go to school, they give birth.
What verse 12 said? Verse 10 said, but the more they afflict them, the more they multiply.
Exactly.
That's right.
So, come on, man. They cannot make Yahweh a liar. Come on, man.
Okay, let's go ahead and finish up that.
Verse 20. We're in the book of Exodus chapter 1, verse 20. Therefore Elohim dealt well with the midwives, and the people multiplied and waxed very mighty. And it came to pass, because the midwives fear Elohim, that he made them houses.
Praise God.
And Pharaoh charged all his people, saying, every son that is born you shall cast into the river, and every daughter you shall save alive.
See, and now you understand. Don't blame the black women in America because why things are going the way it is, because they're dealing with us wisely.
Wisely.
They use that situation. They use the fragmentation of the homes to keep confusion. So you're mad and angry at your sister, and she mad and angry at you. But it's time to have some wisdom for a change.
Wasn't that the plan?
That was the plan.
See, he said turn the elder against the younger. The
Exactly.
Against him. I mean, isn't that part of that?
Yeah, that old Willie Lynch.
See.
You know, but whether Willie Lynch exists or not, it's real. It's true that they did do it.
We're carrying it out. So
Exactly.
Even as Hebrews, knowing the truth, knowing Yahweh, we still carry this out.
We go another direction. But look how Yahweh honored, memorialized. See, this is what thing. Look, don't listen to men. They out here talking about women, and it's us, black men, Hebrew men, that are in the truth or not, going off on the women. Yeah, we got some things to clean up, without a doubt. There's a lot of blame, but we're a nation. Our forefathers, we used to be here together. That's the only people we only had each other, mom and dad, granddad and grandma. Now you got a good job. They let you into this place, and now we just turn. So it's easy to flip us. Right? Look how he honored these women to this very day. Thousands of years later.
It's written in the book.
It's written in the book. Ephra, Shifra, and Puah.
That's right.
Are memorialized.
Yeah.
Oh, you think they're not going to be in the kingdom? I think they probably got a good shot. But if anybody, but see, that's the difference. Let's think about what you're doing. You feel me?
Absolutely.
There's a lot of our women in our history. Again, pick up a book. Stop listening to people.
Yeah.
Many of you wouldn't even be alive today if you didn't have a grandmama or a mama, somebody fed you.
That's right.
They could have threw you in the garbage can.
But you know, one of the main
You're here today talking about.
Right.
One of the main issues that I see going around too, you know, we need to, you know, stop throwing, you know, our dirty laundry, you know, all over the place, man.
Amen.
And I want to pick up a book, pick up the Bible.
That's right.
That's real.
Everybody knows your business.
Yeah.
The whole world knows your business. Then you get mad when somebody uses the N-word.
Yeah.
And you use it in every rap song, every day. So it can't be, you know, but we have to begin to say, well, look, now, if it's that offensive, well, it's just part of it. No, you can change that too. You ain't got to do it. You can change it.
Yeah, you have the power.
I'm guilty of it. I'm not a hypocrite. I'm gonna be hypocritical.
Yeah.
I may get mad and say it because it's been such a part of my life.
Yeah.
Since I've been in this world, I heard that word. But at some point, we got to take the high road.
You got to do that.
You know, but we're racing to the bottom in America. It's a race to the bottom now. Our forefathers used to try to race to the top. They coming out of bondage in America, trying to make something out of themselves, trying to be something, and so they can present themselves to another nation. You know, I might have been a slave, but I'm dressed. I'm concerned how I look.
And their families were intact.
And my family's intact.
Wife was standing right there.
Right there with them.
Right.
Oh,
They
man.
forget that. It said,
Ride or
a
die.
strong man. It was a
Strong
strong
woman
man
right there with
now.
it. Exactly. So you got these things. That's what we come out of here in America. We just been going through this for the last 60 years.
Yeah. Right.
That's
Has
how.
a nation ever hated their own women?
No.
Wow.
No, you
Wow.
can't do that.
That
Right.
nation couldn't survive.
No, man. And we're not surviving.
No.
But see, but that's why you got to go back. You got to go back to your roots. You got to go back to those ancient paths that Yahweh talked about.
That's right.
You got to go back to get on the right path.
That's
Because
correct.
we keep
That's
going
correct.
this way, you know, we see a brother's wife on television and we're calling her names but you know what, brother, you should have kept that in your household.
Yeah.
But you didn't have no wisdom.
Right.
Yeah.
You know, and vice versa.
Right.
We deal with business. If they had understood the civil rights movement, we wouldn't be here today. They met in those churches with them deacons and them preachers privately.
Correct.
Or it was segregated.
Of course.
And they planned, they did things among themselves in the quiet.
Right.
And the next thing you know, bus boycotts, marches, boom, boom. What? So now they got you wide open.
Right.
You tell everybody.
They'll post it.
You post it.
Take a picture.
We're going to march tomorrow.
Right.
You know, why don't you close down the jails for one day? How about a national day where we don't go to jail? Stay out of jail week, month. Let's not commit any crimes whatsoever. Let's shut the jails
That's a
down.
big start, man.
Do something like that. Wouldn't that be novel?
That would be awesome.
Black people just stay home. Don't go nowhere. Keep the Sabbath. Just stay in your house.
That's right.
Don't go nowhere. Don't commit no crimes. Don't do nothing. Everybody stay. Now we're going to say, see, but that'll prove something.
Right.
If you can act peaceably like that on a mandated shut-in, that means you can do it. You have a choice then to treat your brother and sister a certain way. You have a choice not to steal and kill.
That's
break
right.
Yahweh's law. Yeah, but yeah, let's go back to the Creator. And Brother Exodus, not Brother Exodus, I'm sorry, Brother Obadiah, I'm in the book of Exodus. Okay, we're in the book of Exodus. Brother Obadiah, would you read chapter 2, please?
Yes, sir. Exodus chapter 2, verse 1. And there went a man of the house of Levi and took a wife. Verse 1. And there went a man of the house of Levi and took to wife a daughter of Levi. And the woman conceived and bare a son. And when she saw him, that he was a goodly child, she hid him 3 months. And when she could no longer hide him, she took for him an ark of bulrushes and daubed it with slime and with pitch, and put the child therein. And she laid it in the flags by the river's brink. And his sister stood afar off to know what would be done to him. And the daughter of Pharaoh came down to wash herself at the river. And her maidens walked along by the river's side. And when she saw the ark among the flags, she sent her maid to fetch it. And when she had opened it, she saw the child, and behold, the babe wept. And she had compassion on him and said, This is one of the Hebrews' children. Then said his sister to Pharaoh's daughter, Shall I go and call to thee a nurse of the Hebrew women, that she may nurse the child for thee? You see the wisdom?
See a little girl?
She was watching the whole
time. Boy, praise Yah.
Praise Yah. Verse 8. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, Go. And the maid went and called the mother's child.
Praise Yah. Hallelujah.
See?
Yeah. Hallelujah.
Only Yahweh can work that now.
Only Yahweh can do that.
See?
Babes, man.
She gonna hire. I'm gonna pay you your wages, right?
Right.
Yeah.
But you the mother anyway. And
I'm stuck on my baby. I'm stuck on my child.
Yahweh is great, man.
Yeah,
Yahweh
look at
is
that little
great.
sister. I got a lot of sisters.
Right.
I look at my son, and he got a lot of sisters.
Praise
Right?
God.
And I watch the relate. They're very protective of their baby brothers.
Of
Of
course.
their brothers. They're
They should be.
extremely protective of their brothers. And so we're seeing she's watching this. She sees him put in the ark of bulrushes, and she want to know what's going to happen to my brother.
Exactly.
And Yahweh, and she watched the whole thing. And Yahweh had her there to see that. And as soon as she brought it into Pharaoh's daughter, brought him in, she says, "Oh, did you want me to get a maid to give him something? Do you need a nurse?" You know.
But and you see, you see that brother's, the baby's mother, and I think that's a great metaphor for a lot of things, because Uriah had just read where in chapter 1 that he had charged them to say, every son that's born, cast him into the river, and every daughter shall stay alive. So the mother knows there's a death etiquette out. She did the best she could do to keep the child. But they knew it was going to be found out, but they must be watching deep. But guess what? This is what we have to start doing. Think about it. We got to start doing these things. When you don't done what you could do, sometimes you got to release it and put it in Yahweh's hand.
Yeah, you got to do
and
that.
see what Yahweh's going to do. That's what I do. I come to that point.
Yeah.
I can speak and talk, but you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to turn it over to the Most High.
That's right.
I'm going to turn it over to you, Yahweh. I'm not going to worry myself over it.
That's right.
I'm going to put it in your hand. I'm going to put it in let's put it in the river.
Yeah.
Let's see what becomes of it. And then we see what Yahweh, I got your sister. I got this boy. He's already, I got him.
Right.
He's going to be something about him.
The mother saw it. She
The
said
mother
he was
saw
a
it.
goodly
Goodly
child. Yeah. She hit him.
That spirit,
3
she hit
months.
him.
How you do that?
Come on, 3 months.
I mean, nobody heard the baby crying. I mean, but
That's good.
but she hit him.
She hit him. She couldn't do no more. She said, well, I'm going to just put it in Yahweh's hands.
She was a wise sister. She
Yeah.
knew exactly what to do to keep the baby silent.
But she wasn't going to turn her baby over to him and kill him.
No.
Not my baby.
Right?
Not my baby.
See, there's something about women. See, now you keep on saying we don't saw Shifra, Pua. Now we see Moshe's mama with wisdom. Now we see a sister, and you're going to sit up here and act like you don't know what this book is saying?
Come on.
Let us through the Holy Spirit
Come on,
read
man.
it so you can change direction with your mouth.
Yeah.
Because that mouth might get you into trouble.
That's real.
That sounds like somebody I hear about. I was laughing about it earlier. That might get you into trouble.
Yeah.
I'll tell you about it. I was laughing about that.
But you know, I
Praise
hope a lot of the brothers who who are watching, they see that our sisters, they are wise human beings.
That's right.
Right,
Treat them with respect,
That's right.
utmost respect, man.
That's what's lacking in our. That's
Yeah.
lacking among our brothers.
We got a problem.
right.
We got a problem.
Yes.
But continue with this, brother. This has got me. This is great. I know they're waiting. Go ahead, Obi.
Yes, sir, man. Verse 9. Yeah, verse 9. And Pharaoh's daughter said unto her, Take this child away and nurse it for me, and I will give thee thy wages.
Praise God.
And the woman took the child and nursed it.
Get paid.
Get paid.
Take care of your own baby.
Yes.
I'll get paid for it too.
See that?
Come on, man.
And the child, so her faith was rewarded.
There it is.
Yeah.
Get rewarded.
Yeah.
Right.
She was faithful.
Right.
And she believed that, she said, this is a goodly child. And
See, and that let you know, it wasn't the, they were being afflicted. But see, we went through this 400, our father, we in this thing, they didn't think about it nothing.
That's right.
They the whole world became rich.
That's right.
Off of Israel in bondage. Let's continue to go.
Yes, sir. Verse 10. And the child grew, and she brought him unto Pharaoh's daughter, and he became her son. And she called his name Moses. And she said, Because I drew him out of the water.
Praise God.
Verse 11. And it came to pass in those days, when Moshe was grown.
Okay, brother. Like you said, Moses, but we in Hebrew, his name is pronounced
Moshe. Yes, sir.
That's why when you hear us say Moshe, that's the Hebrew
That's right. That's right.
pronunciation of his name.
Praise God. Verse 11. And it came to pass in those days, when Moshe was grown, that he went out unto his brethren, and looked on their burdens. And he spied an Egyptian smiting a Hebrew, one of his brethren. And he looked this way and that way, and when he saw that there was no man, he slew the Egyptian, and hid him in the sand. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together. And he said to him that did the wrong, Why smitest thou thy fellow? And he said, Who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me, as thou killed the Egyptian? And Moshe feared and said, Surely this thing is known. Now,
Is that not us?
That's our people, man.
If that's not us,
Bro.
is that not us?
You see what he brought on him?
Oh,
I mean, he said, man.
We can't keep our mouth shut.
Is that not us?
I mean,
Yeah.
Once you see the accusation,
It's
Yeah.
right. You know it's
you
known.
know, like,
This thing is known.
it's known. Because them comebacks only come from a specific people. Like, you only get that comeback from
For us, we shoot you down. But you see what the brother was trying to do? Even that what we try to do today. I try to do the same thing today.
Yeah.
We got to do that. Blessed are the peacemakers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's
He
right.
trying to say, brothers, we up here in bondage.
Right.
Y'all in bondage.
Right.
I'm rolling.
Right.
I'm deep. I'm
Prince.
I'm a prince.
Pharaoh's grandson.
Yeah, I'm Pharaoh's grandson. But no, y'all down here in the worst condition possible.
But he knew who he was.
Yeah.
And he came out to see the condition of his people. He saw them being afflicted, and he knew it.
So the question I have for you, brothers, we got one, the Pharaoh's daughter, the princess, immediately knew that this was one of the Hebrew children in the basket. And we can infer, well, maybe the clothing or something.
Yeah.
It could have been.
Ornament or whatever.
But guess what?
And basically, he said to throw them in, cast them in the river.
Correct.
So once you see a baby running in the river, you know it's going to be a Hebrew child.
Well,
By default.
but,
Go ahead.
well, it would be, if you cast it, it'd be dead. It would have been a dead ground child. But they didn't put all the children in baskets. Right. Think about that. So we want to make sure.
But who would have cast their child into the river?
Well, yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Well,
So look at it, but yeah.
I think that makes sense. But there's something else I'm trying to get at.
Yeah, and you're right.
That
You're
these
right.
are the same that these people look alike.
Right.
Yeah.
They're not so far.
Right.
You know, and the ancient Egyptians were a black people. And they can tell you every Kemet, that's what the name of the ancient land was called. They called it Kemet. You know, and in Hebrew we call it Mizraim. But the people had a right to call themselves what they want to be called.
Correct.
That's what they are.
That's right.
Kemet. And they're black people, just like us.
That's right. That's right.
Joseph married him a sister. And we have to have enough understanding that in Goshen, many of our brothers married those women.
That's right.
That's right.
That's right. And Goshen is a part of Israel's land.
Exactly.
You know.
From the beginning, from there up to the Euphrates. So you're right. There's a lot of different things that are going on. But, you know, I see that. You know, he comes out. He knows who he is. But do the other Hebrews know that he's a Hebrew? Now that means that Moses knows. He said, "I'm gonna come out here. I'm a grown man. But you know, his mama don't put it in his ear. At some point. And the princess he probably knows that he's not. They probably adopted him. They just adopted him.
Yeah.
I don't think Pharaoh didn't know.
But look at the
Arguably,
compassion.
I don't know.
Yahweh made the daughter have compassion. Because
But she had compassion.
she blatantly disobeyed her father's order. She sees that the baby, she takes him in.
Right.
She knows they're supposed to get rid of the babies.
Exactly.
She sees the baby in the back and she takes him in.
So the question is, does Pharaoh know? I would know if my daughter had a baby.
Right.
Come on. I mean, back.
I would think.
Did she have it?
Yeah, how you got a baby? Who's the? Are you married or what happened?
Where you got this baby from?
So those are just common sense little things to know.
But you know what I realized, you know,
think about, I should say.
But back then, you know, if you were, you know, back then in that era, you will know the difference. You know, just like even today, like, you know, I know my countrymen because there's certain feature, and then you will recognize right away.
You're like me, brother. That's it. Great job. I can look. People say, well, how is that possible? I can look at other people.
Yeah.
And other black people from Africa. I pretty much know if you're from the islands.
Yeah.
I can know if you're from continent of Africa. It's how you good at that. I can tell.
Yeah.
It's something, you know, every now and then.
Yeah.
You know, I might get fooled, but very rarely.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm not just talking about accents, like you're saying.
Right.
So it's something that Yahweh has given us and understanding.
Yeah.
Because see, somebody else may say y'all all look alike.
Right.
But we know better.
Yeah. Verse 13. Yeah, verse 13. And when he went out the second day, behold, 2 men of the Hebrews strove together, and he said to him that did the wrong, Wherefore smitest thou thy fellow? And he said, Who made thee a prince and a judge over us? Intendest thou to kill me as thou killedst the Egyptian? And Moshe feared and said, Surely this thing is known. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moshe.
Okay. That's very critical. Okay.
Yes,
you don't kill one of my people. Man.
Right. Now it's an issue.
With the question that you asked, you think Pharaoh would, look to slay his own son? So he knew that Moshe wasn't his.
Right.
Because Pharaoh would be glad if his son killed, a son of the Hebrew.
But then again, is there a law in Egypt? Yes. But you're a prince.
Right.
But now remember, Moses has a whole life prior to this situation.
Right.
Now they talk about that to a degree in the book of Josephus.
Right.
But you got to be, again, everything has to be read in the proper context.
Yeah, that's right.
And Josephus was a Hebrew historian.
Right.
So he wrote the history, the antiquities of the Jews and things like that.
Yes, sir.
So we have to be, so there are other sources that are out there, but even then we have to be, like
circumspect
you said, circumspect,
Yeah.
and then, because it's 1,000, 4,000 some years, it's 1,000 years ago, right?
Yeah. But look at what's happening with the people. I mean, he sees his brothers fighting. He went to the one that was doing the wrong, and he's trying to correct them. And he said, "Now, who made you a judge?
Who made you a
and
judge?
a ruler over us?" Not understanding that Yahweh, not only is he going to make him a judge, he's going to make him a God.
Oh, yeah.
Who made you a judge?
I'm telling you, man.
I don't know that one. But look, you go to somebody today, among our people right now. We lead with Yahweh let us. You can't go approach any of our people when you see them do something wrong. You can see them parking in the handicap spot. Hey, brother, hey, man, that man ready to kill you.
Yep.
Who are you? You're not the police.
Man.
Right.
I know.
Hey, do this. You try to correct them. They don't want to hear anything from you.
Nope.
That's not why. That's not wisdom.
Nope.
But when the police come,
Right.
and now they don't choke you to death. Now, that was wrong. But at the end of the day, where do you think you are? It's wrong to kill. But see, you got to know where you are.
That's right.
Then somebody got to tell you, hey, man, when the people telling you something, go ahead and go and do it. Just go ahead and go, because you're not going to win. They're going to look at you hard either way it goes. So that's the kind of walk, circumspect with wisdom in a place where you know you're not the most popular people.
That's right.
That's all I'm saying.
You would think.
think. But we can't talk because they'll bite. I say something to somebody, it could be your life.
Yeah. I know.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. For the most minor transgression or correction, to tell them.
I know.
So sometimes we just let them go. Hey man, I can't leave them alone. But then again, a community, it shows you the breakdown of our people.
Exactly.
Just like here.
Exactly.
They've been enslaved. They've been broken down. I'm a slave now. I ain't nothing now. Who you supposed to be?
Right.
Man.
You're not the Egyptians. I don't want to hear you.
Right. We're not brothers.
Yeah, my brother over here. My brother on the avenue. You're not my brother. I don't want to hear anything else. Only person I'm going to yield to is my captor.
Right.
That's all I got to say on that. Go ahead, brother.
Yes, sir. Verse 15. Now when Pharaoh heard this thing, he sought to slay Moshe. But Moshe fled from the face of Pharaoh and dwelt in the land of Midian, and he sat down by a well. Now the priest of Midian had 7 daughters, and they came and drew water, and filled the troughs to water their father's flock. And the shepherds came and drove them away. But Moshe stood up and helped them, and watered their flock. And when they came to Ruel, their father, he said, How is it that you are come so soon today? And they said, An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, like you were saying earlier.
Right. They recognize him as an Egyptian, not a Hebrew.
Correct.
So the Egyptian-Hebrew distinction, you just can't look at them.
Yeah.
Exactly.
In one sense, if you're outside.
That's right.
So they got to have the same phenotype.
Yeah.
Right.
I should say, complexion, bones. They look alike. Just like when we saw when they took Joseph had Jacob burial procession.
That's right. This is a great mourning of the Egyptians. They say.
That's right. They didn't say the Hebrew and the Egyptians.
Correct.
They said the Egyptians. Because I can spot an Egyptian. Okay.
Verse 19. And they said, An Egyptian delivered us out of the hand of the shepherds, and also drew water enough for us, and watered the flock. And he said unto his daughters, And where is he? Why is it that you have left the man? call him that he may eat bread.
Right.
That's right.
And Moshe was content to dwell with the man, and he gave Moshe Zipporah his daughter. And she bare him a son, and he called his name Gershon. For he said, I have been a stranger in a strange land. And it came to pass in process of time that the king of Egypt died, and the children of Israel sighed by reason of the bondage. And they cried, and their cry came up unto Elohim by reason of the bondage. And Elohim heard their groaning, and Elohim remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob. And Elohim looked upon the children of Israel, and Elohim had respect unto them.
See that verse?
Praise Yah.
Praise Yah. Read that verse 24 again.
Yes, sir. And Elohim heard their groaning, and Elohim remembered his covenant with Abraham, with Isaac, and with Jacob.
See there? Praise Yah.
Praise
Because he
Yah.
told him, don't worry about it, Jacob.
I'm going to be with you.
I'm going to be with you.
Yeah.
I'm going to be with your seed after you. I'm going to be with you. This covenant,
Mhm.
Yahweh's covenant, that's Yahweh's covenent.
That's right.
It's an everlasting covenant.
Mm.
A creator made a covenant with you.
Exactly.
Come on,
He
man.
didn't break the covenant.
What is man?
Right.
Yeah.
Come on now. So these are we're seeing we're seeing Moshe. So now you understand. So Moshe took a wife. She's not a Hebrew woman.
Mm-hmm.
But look at
Moshe is
Moshe's
a Hebrew
character.
man.
Look at his character. He's at the well sitting. The women come, and we see. So we see. You know, okay, it's a patriarchal society.
Yeah.
So they're bullies basically. They're
Right.
bullying the women. They run them. The father even said, "How you get home so early today?" Normally they'll get chased away. They gotta. Everybody will come feed before they allow the women to get. So they get the short end of the stick.
That's correct.
Moshe defended them.
Yep.
And that's how they got home early that day.
Exactly.
He was like, you just left them? Go get the man. Where this man at?
Get the water. And if you travel and you see, these are the customary things you see on the continent of Africa.
Mm-hmm.
The women in the traditional sense, they go out and get the water.
Mm-hmm.
And you see these things. These are not uncommon.
Correct.
Well, we're doing all hard work.
Duties, you know.
But those are duties. Those were the things of antiquity.
Yep.
And so we're seeing these things before our very eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know one thing. So I've been looking. You know, it's so strange. Not which amount of strange, but to realize that these people, men and women, can actually work together without being molested or anything like that back then in those days. I'm not saying it doesn't happen,
Right.
but why would the father allow his daughter to
Correct.
go out there each and every day to water sheep, knowing that there's a bunch of criminals out there?
Right.
It didn't Rebecca, wasn't she at the well doing the same
Of
thing?
course,
sure
doing the
was.
same
She sure
thing.
was.
Yeah.
She sure was at the wedding, the same thing.
Yeah.
So
You're right.
exactly,
Yeah.
praise God for that insight. Okay, now we're going to go into the book of Exodus, chapter 3.
Mhm.
It's, what were we looking at time? I want to make sure.
25.
Okay, let's go ahead and go to chapter 3 of the book of Exodus. You're right.
Exodus chapter 3, verse 1. Now Moshe kept the flock of Jethro, his father-in-law, the priest of Midian, and he led the flock to the backside of the desert, and came to the mountain of Elohim, even to Horeb. And the angel of Yahweh appeared unto him in a flame of fire out of the midst of a bush. And he looked, and behold, the bush burned with fire, and the bush was not consumed.
So Yahweh says he makes his angels ministers of what? Flame? So y'all see, these are spiritual things. This is an angel. The angel appeared as a flame.
That's right.
Right? And this messed him up. He's looking around. What is this? But go ahead, brother. Let's see what this phenomenon is going to be reveals itself as.
Okay, verse 3. And Moshe said, I will now turn aside and see this great sight, why the bush is not burned. And when Yahweh saw that he turned aside to see, Elohim called unto him out of the midst of the bush and said, Moshe, Moshe. And he said, Here am I. And he said, Draw not nigh hither, but put off thy shoes from off thy feet, for the place whereon thou standest is holy ground.
Off the top. So Yahweh had sanctified this area. And this angel is of we understand the different orders, right?
Correct.
Spiritual beings, angels are spiritual beings.
Of course.
But all spiritual beings are not angels.
Correct.
They're not all lights. They're not all messengers.
Wow.
So we got to understand there's spiritual beings that we read about later on. But don't necessarily mean they're angels. Angels are spiritual beings, but all spiritual beings are not angels.
Correct.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
That's
So
right.
we just, but now we know this is an angel. Take off the top. He bears Yahweh's name. And that should trigger you.
Right.
And that's going to be something you're going to figure out as we read.
Later on.
Go ahead, brother.
Verse 6. Moreover, he said, I am the Elohim of thy father, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob. And Moshe hid his face, for he was afraid to look upon Elohim.
So now Yahweh now is manifesting himself in this manner to Moshe.
That's right.
This is something new.
Yep.
Right? Beforehand, he was dealing with the patriarchs.
That's correct.
And Joseph and dreams and things of that nature. And visions, what have you. But now this angel is speaking to him.
Verse 7. And Yahweh said, I have surely seen the affliction of my people, which are in Egypt.
Okay, well.
And let me finish that.
Go ahead,
and I've heard their cry by reason of their taskmasters, for I know their sorrows.
Praise God. Continue, brother.
Verse 8. And I am come down to deliver them out of the hand of the Egyptian, and to bring them up out of that land unto a good land, a large, unto a land flowing with milk and honey, unto the place of the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites. Now therefore, behold, the cry of the children of Israel is come unto me, and I have also seen the oppression wherewith the Egyptian oppressed them. Come now, therefore, and I will send thee unto Pharaoh, that thou mayest bring forth my people, the children of Israel, out of Egypt. Man, which other book can you read where the Most High said, my people, the children of Israel?
Right.
That's right.
They didn't claim him, he claimed them.
Yeah.
That's right. There it is.
That's right.
Exactly. You know, they going through changes right now.
That's right.
My people.
It was a point that Elliot was making earlier about the how Yahweh appeared to his servants and to our fathers. He said, I appeared in dreams. We're going to read this later on with Miriam and
Moshe's sister.
And Moshe's sister and his brother. They basically they had some words and said some things, and Yahweh had to pull them out and correct them. He said, I've spoken in visions and in dreams to all the servants, but with Moshe, I was not like that. I go to him face to face. Right?
Yes, sir.
Right.
Face to face.
Yes, sir.
And why were you not afraid of my prophet, my servant?
So this is the experience that he was referring to.
Exactly.
Yes, sir.
Praise God.
Verse 11. And Moshe said unto Elohim, Whom am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt?
But think about this now.
We have to. Go ahead, man.
Look at this dialogue.
Right.
A man is talking to a burning bush. A voice is coming out of a burning bush that is not consumed.
Right.
Having a conversation.
You hear that.
And you going back and forth.
Right.
It kind of makes when later on when Balak is having a conversation with the ass.
With the eyes, yeah.
Yahweh opened the tongue of the ass and he talked to him.
Haven't I been a good ass?
Yeah, man, have I been a good ass?
Been faithful?
Oh, man.
And I'm not making a like. This is a miraculous situation.
Yeah.
And but how would you respond if you were in the same situation?
Man.
You know something. He's already told you. I'm the God of your father, Abraham, Isaac, and whatever. So he knows this is Elohim. So he knows that.
Yeah,
so
this is
so
divine.
he's still talking. He's like, man,
You know, I mean, he questions, am I crazy? Am I tripping? Am I hearing things?
Right. That'd be the first thing.
You know what? Sometimes certain things happen to you, and you just freeze. You can't move.
That's correct.
You can't go anywhere.
Right. You just go along with it.
You just have to dialogue with that bush. Come on.
Exactly.
Come on, speak to the bush.
Right.
Oh, you crazy, man.
I'm crazy. You go back to those brothers in Egypt saying that. I talked to a burning bush.
So, but Yahweh knew this. This is why he had to give him signs. And,
there it is.
He knew. They're going to say, well, you ain't right.
You lost your mind in the desert.
But look what Moshe said. He said, who am I?
Yeah, let's go ahead and start. This
He said, who am I? You know, like you want to send it to Egypt. He have a valid reason.
Yeah, I'm a humble
He
guy.
have a valid reason.
You don't want to go back down there.
No, I just don't want to go.
Yeah, but it's crazy.
Not knowing that. I mean, he knows that he's one of the children of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So why should I go?
But look at how Yahweh raised him up. He
Yeah.
had him raised up in Pharaoh's house just for that purpose.
Just for that
Oh
purpose.
man.
So he's not seeing the big
Oh,
picture.
man.
Yahweh's like, nah, brother.
It's a big
You the
picture.
one. You go.
Okay.
He'll
You're
listen
gonna
to
go. Whether you like it or not.
You know,
Mhm.
what I talked to say yesterday,
Mm.
we have to get out of, Yahweh deals up here,
Mm-hmm.
and he wants to bring us up here where he a place where we can look down and see the big picture, miles above. But you want to, you want to be an eagle's perspective, and many of us want to be down with the chickens.
Right.
We don't want to get up and raise up to a level where Yahweh can truly use us. So you can be an eagle, not for your glory,
Right.
for Yahweh's glory. But you got to be on the same what? Mind.
Yeah.
You got to see how Yahweh see it.
Yeah.
And he got a way of making us see it the way he want to see it. But sometimes we don't want to go through that. I don't want to have to be chastised and corrected if I can. I would rather Yahweh, you just make this thing plain to me.
Right.
Because I know how you do stuff.
Right.
My goodness. You've been sitting around here.
I don't want you to plead with me.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm good.
Right.
That's good. Whatever you say goes.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'm going here now. Go ahead, continue, brother. You're on verse 11. Read that 11 again and continue on down.
We're in the book of Exodus chapter 3. I'm going to pick it up at verse 11. And Moshe said unto Elohim, Who am I that I should go unto Pharaoh, and that I should bring forth the children of Israel out of Egypt? And he said, Certainly, I will be with thee, and this shall be a token unto thee that I have sent thee. When thou hast brought forth the people out of Egypt, you shall serve Elohim upon this mountain.
Praise God.
Man, that's beautiful. Oh man, I have one thing in my account, man, in my cap. Yeah. Verse 13. And Moshe said unto Elohim, Behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, and shall say unto them, The Elohim of your fathers hath sent me unto you. And they shall say to me, What is his name? What shall I say unto them? And Elohim said unto Moshe, I am that I am. And he said, Thus shalt thou say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. Verse 15. And Elohim said, Moreover unto Moshe, Thus thou say unto the children of Israel, Yahweh Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob, has sent me unto you. This is my name forever, and this is my memorial unto all generation. Praise Him. Verse 16. Go and gather the elders of Israel together, and say unto them, Yahweh Elohim of your fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, of Isaac, and of Jacob, appear unto me, saying, I have surely visited you, and seen that which is done to you in Egypt.
Pause for a minute. Verse 16, so you should understand that they went in under the patriarchs were there, and they have organized themselves under their houses, under the brothers.
That's right.
That's right.
So they're finding the elders in the community among those houses. So they're not out of control in chaos.
Totally, yeah.
You know, but they have structure. All human beings will organize and put themselves in a structure.
That's right.
That's from heaven.
Yeah.
You're not gonna run around like maniacs.
That's right.
So right there, go get the elders. So that's letting you know something.
Yeah.
That you should pick up on that.
I mean, they learn from the patriarch coming down.
Correct.
The patriarch, they taught their children. I mean, it goes all the way down.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's why I said you can learn from the previous generation. But when these guys, when the slave industry started, what they started to do, if they put one generation there, then they put one generation over there.
Right.
They don't put them together.
That's so wicked.
Yep.
Oh man, come on, by design.
Mm.
Verse what, 17?
Yes.
And I have said, I will bring you up out of the affliction of Egypt unto the land of the Canaanites, the Hittites, and the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Hivites, and the Jebusites, unto a land flowing with milk and honey.
That's the covenant promise. That's what he promised Abraham. He promised Isaac that. And he promised Jacob that.
Same covenant.
Same covenant.
Same
We're gonna
covenant.
get this land.
Never changed, man.
Right.
Verse 18. And they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come, thou and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt, and you shall say unto him, Yahweh Elohim of the Hebrews
There it is.
had met with us, and now let us go. We beseech thee 3 days' journey into the wilderness, that we may sacrifice to our Elohim.
See, now you said
Yahweh
something,
our Elohim.
you said something earlier where you're a nation, you gotta have a constitution, you gotta do whatever.
Right.
But let's be more even specific. If you're a nation, because people, you're gonna have your own gods.
That's correct.
Your God or gods. And we know it's gods, because these other people, they had many gods. They were idolaters. They worshiped several gods for different purposes. Polytheistic.
Yes.
You know, so here he's making it very clear. I am the God of the Hebrews. So now they are a nation. It's becoming they are a nation because they got their own God.
That's right.
Absolutely.
But now we know the Egyptians and other nations, they're gods that are not gods. But that's okay. But Yahweh's gonna deal with that
Later on.
In the end, ultimately, you know,
Right.
to this time. And that's coming. Yahweh's winding that up now. He's gonna wrap all this up at this point in time in these latter days. There's not gonna be all these various gods in the world. There's gonna be one.
Correct.
So, but here we're the only sanctified. He sanctified Egypt. He sanctified Israel. He chose Abraham. He sanctified him. He chose his son Isaac, his only son Isaac, not Ishmael. Isaac, sanctified, set him apart.
Yes.
Sanctified Yaakov.
That's right.
That's right.
And then next thing you know, and he blessed them boys, sons.
That's right.
And they're making a nation,
Of
in a
course.
nation. They're always making a nation, in a nation.
That's right.
Man,
Preparing to take them out of the nation.
prepare to take them out.
Praise
The Exodus.
Praise God.
Continue, brother.
We're in the book of Exodus chapter 3, verse 19. And I am sure that the king of Egypt will not let you go. No, not by a mighty hand. And I will stretch out my hand and smite Egypt with all my wonders, which I will do in the midst thereof. And after that he will let you go. And I will give this people favor in the sight of the Egyptian. And it shall come to pass that when you go, you shall not go empty. But every woman shall borrow of her neighbor, and of her that sojourneth in her house, jewels of silver, and jewels of gold, and raiment. And you shall put them upon your sons, and upon your daughters, and you shall spoil the Egyptians.
I'm gonna bring this to and Obi, what do you call this, sir? What do you call this, sir? What is Yahweh doing?
Oh, he's spoiling them.
Yeah, you're gonna spoil him. But what is he doing to his prophet? He's telling his prophet what?
Oh, he's foretelling them
The
the
declaring
same
the
way.
end.
He's declaring the beginning.
Yes.
From the beginning, the same way.
He's doing the same. I'm
He told
declaring
him,
the end from the beginning.
I'm gonna send you to Pharaoh. He's not gonna let him go.
Right.
No, I'm a hard.
I know.
But I'm gonna bring the people up out of there, and the people gonna find favor, and they're gonna rob the Egypt. All of this he's declaring, and Moshe is taking this all.
Right.
He's taking it all in.
You know what's gonna happen.
The whole. Yeah.
But what did he say? He's not going to do anything unless his prophet knows.
That's right.
He don't chose him as a prophet.
That's right.
You're going to be there's going to be some pushback a little bit.
Right.
But this is what's going on. That's the beauty of it. Some people, if you don't read the time, that's why we got to take time in this the chat to show you
Correct.
what Yahweh's doing.
That's right.
He already gave him the plan.
That's right.
This is what's going to go down.
The whole, from the start to the finish.
Right. He even told him up there in verse 18. That's why you got to, and you know, I'm learning. You tell somebody something, advice,
Mm-hmm.
at my admonition, whatever it may be. Like you said, you gotta be like Moshe's mama. Well, okay, you know what? Put it on in this river.
Right.
Now, Yahweh, you deal with it. Now, I don't told him. I don't warn him.
Mm.
You deal with it. I mean, I didn't pick up on it, but you deal with it. But right here, let's see, but Yahweh had to, but when Yahweh ready to do something, he'll put that spirit on. They're going to do what you say, because verse 18 says, and he said the elders, he says, and they shall hearken to thy voice, and thou shalt come, thou and the elders of Israel, unto the king of Egypt. They're not going to fight with you,
Right.
because I'm going to set it up. I'm in this thing.
That's right.
So by the time you open your mind, that's why you know when Yahweh says something, you ain't got to argue with nobody. The spirit going to be there. You don't say, listen, you got to say, look, dude, boom. So that must mean, well, Yahweh, put it in the river. Put the basket in the river. I don't do my part.
See,
I did my part.
and we're gonna see that, but with Yahweh, look now, he's telling him this, and he's making it plain, but he's still gonna try his servant and allow him to go through some things, because they're gonna go with you to that. They're gonna go.
Yeah.
But soon as that affliction started getting down on them, they turned on Moshe immediately. What have you done?
Man.
What have you done, Moshe? Moshe go to Yahweh like, Yahweh, what have you done?
You came here to Egypt talking this crazy stuff. You came here telling us this.
Right.
So it gotta be you. Because we can't see Yahweh.
Yeah.
So we gonna hold you accountable.
That's right.
For everything. Now, what we looking at in time?
We're right at actually the 2 hour mark.
2 hour mark.
Yeah.
I tell you what, let's do this. Let's take it. Let's take it to verse. Let's go to verse 9.
Okay.
At least. Uriah, you want to take it down? Let's got it. Well, we got like we're at the 2 hour mark.
With 5 minutes left. Well, 4 minutes.
Let's try to go ahead and see let's see how far we can go.
Yeah. You want to pick it up
chapter the book of Exodus, chapter 4, verse 1.
All right, I'll pick it up.
Oh, it's you.
Yes.
I'm sorry.
No,
it's all right.
Yeah, this guy, I'm here. This guy. let me turn my shoulder.
Give him the cold shoulder.
Hey, you know what, man? Welcome. Praise Him, man.
Praise. Exodus chapter 4, verse 1. And Moshe answered and said, But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice. For they will say, Yahweh has not appeared unto thee.
Man, it's not what Yahweh do with us.
Yep. He
tells us to do something in the spirit, and he tells us, do it. Man, they ain't gonna believe me. I can't do this.
That doubt, that fear.
Yeah,
he was captivated by fear.
Yeah.
And
well, I think we
do the same thing.
I'm gonna go back up in there, man. They better kill me. I'll go back up in there.
Yeah. I mean, they snitched on him from the
get-go.
get-go.
Snitched on me.
He saved he killed an Egyptian. Said he looked both ways. He saw them dealing wrong. Premeditated murder, slaughtered.
Right.
Right. Buried him in the sand. And then the brother went and snitched on him. He said, "You gonna kill me like you killed that Egyptian?"
But this is another point that we got to think about too. I know y'all thought about it. See, be careful. We don't judge no man after the flesh.
Right.
Yeah.
Don't evaluate people as the flesh.
Nope.
They might be to you unworthy. This man killed somebody.
Right.
But that's Yahweh's man.
Yeah.
Who made you a prince?
Yeah.
A judge.
The father. And if you keep on talking, the father will talk to you about it.
That's right.
Of course.
You know,
Of course.
You do what you want to do.
That's right.
But I'm bringing the message, brother.
But Moshe was so humble. He was a meek man.
He's the meekest man in the world. And that's how we got to be.
That's right.
Even when people act a fool.
You have to remain meek, man.
Continue, brother. You got to be. You got to be meek. You got to be humble.
Latter part of verse 1. But behold, they will not believe me, nor hearken unto my voice, for they will say, Yahweh has not appeared unto thee.
Okay.
And Yahweh said unto him, What is that in thine hand? And he said, A rod. And he said, Cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent. And Moshe fled from before it.
Nobody jump to see a snake.
Right.
But anybody may jump, but still, we know how we are.
I would jump.
I'm leaping out of there. Great job.
But you know what? I don't know if I was watching a video or was, somebody was blogging or something somewhere, and they saw like a garden snake. So they post and say, hey, they want to know what time this is. So brother said, look, man, but I think, as you said, man, it needs to be a dead snake. They're so scared. Black folks are so scared. I don't care if it's a garden one or a poisonous one.
A dead snake is the best
I
snake.
know that.
I'm out of here. I'm gone.
Gone.
Yeah, that's great line.
Run out your house.
My mother, she's scared to death.
Oh no.
We get garden snakes. We can't even say it. We just gotta kill it. She's
Man.
crying out. Oh God.
Man, these things, man, they really truly identify,
You gotta see how we are. We act.
Yeah.
Praise y'all. Let's continue, man.
Yes, sir.
Let's not wrap it up, but let's go ahead. This thing's
Verse 3. And he said, cast it on the ground. And he cast it on the ground, and it became a serpent, and Moshe fled from before it.
Mm.
And Yahweh said unto Moshe, put forth thine hand, and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand, and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand, that they may believe that Yahweh, Elohim of their fathers, the Elohim of Abraham, the Elohim of Isaac, and the Elohim of Jacob, has appeared unto thee.
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh said furthermore unto him, put now thine hand into thy bosom. And he put his hands into his bosom. And when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, put thine hand into thy bosom again. And he put his hand into his bosom again, and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as his other flesh.
Brother Obi, when I was getting this truth, and I was trying to rationalize that could the lowly black Negroes be the children of Israel? And I'm beginning, you're looking at certain things, and now I'm studying.
That's right.
And you say, well, if this, leprosy, they say hand to my white. Well, that meant that hand had to be really melanated.
That's right. Yeah.
That's a real miracle.
That's right.
Now, if my hand come out or your hand, your right, your hand, you stand there with dark brown people, and you're standing there with a white hand.
Right.
And you put it, what the
Going on?
Oh, Mike, what I don't got.
Right.
I'm a dead man. You put your hand back in,
Right.
and it come back to the same color.
Normal. Okay.
These are things that we know that.
That's right.
They didn't think about that Yahweh would make us utilize these signs and these various things to let us know that Israel is black people.
That's right.
Or colored people. You want to use those terms? But black people. But they didn't call themselves they call themselves human beings and Israelites or Hebrews.
What is one
We're
of
in
the...
these latter days with these bywords.
I didn't mean to interrupt you. What is it that our people say? They'll say, well, the white man wrote the book. This is why this is their mentality that will keep them out of reading this book.
Oh, come on.
Well, your fathers wrote the book, and he translated it into other languages and printed it, and Yahweh used them to do that.
Exactly.
Well, why did they leave these things in the book?
Right. You don't want to, if you're doing it, Yahweh didn't let them do it.
Exactly.
Because you're going to try to get rid of every little clue that speaks to another people, particularly black people, dark-skinned people. Because they did that, they had to do that with the ancient Egyptians.
Right.
Because on one hand, if you look at their scholars, they all said back in a certain time that the African Egyptians were African or black people.
That's right.
Without a doubt, there's no issue. But once that slave trade they got the slave trade wide open, and they're dehumanizing people. So if you look at Egyptian scholars like Chapolin and others, they lay it out. How are you going to say these people, the black people that you've enslaved, are inhuman and subhuman? But these are the same people. That's what they wrote down. That brought mathematics.
That's right.
Civilized everybody.
Right.
Mathematics, literature, science. You can't do that because now they're gonna say you're just being wicked toward these people.
Right.
Because they were here before you were.
That's right.
Yeah.
Egypt was around a long time. Don't think that's why Egypt was already wide open.
That's right.
Yeah.
You feel me?
That's right.
Wide open, advanced civilization. They were not inferior, uncivilized people.
By no means.
By no means.
So that's why, isn't it? We discussed this before. Why do you think Yahweh got you? You come out, Yahweh put you in the most advanced place at the time. Ancient Egypt. He put you among them. People look like you, whatever. You went into that place.
Right. Full
of knowledge and power and raise you up now as a nation to later come get you, right?
I see.
You see where I'm going?
I see where you're going.
Now you are in the second Egypt, and we're gonna but Deuteronomy 28, verse 68.
That's correct.
Right?
That's
so, and that says, somebody just read that. Just to let you know that now you are in the most powerful country. It's not by accident.
No.
That Yahweh put you in this land where he allowed you to build it and by the sweat of your brow, this whole hemisphere, but America in particular. And now it's the most powerful place ever. But they still got, you're here in the midst of them.
Right. And what are you doing with it?
Right? And what are you doing with it? But by far, we are still the most educated of so-called black people in the world. We're still the most, we got all the black people here. We put ourselves down a little too much too.
Yeah.
But we got the lawyers, the doctors, anything the Europeans doing in America, we doing.
That's right.
If they got geneticists, you got some black brothers and geneticists and sisters.
Right. That's right.
If they're heart surgeons, y'all, we got us as heart surgeons.
That's right.
Astronauts, we're astronauts.
That's right.
So we have gotten all the wisdom in this captivity of education.
That's right.
Right? But you're still in Egypt. But you're in the most powerful place. You're protected. Ain't nobody gonna run up in here and get you.
That's right.
And fight you and destroy you, because they gotta come through the heads that Yahweh's put around these Gentiles for our sake.
That's right.
So,
protection.
but those last curses in Deuteronomy 28, verse 68, speaks to where we are now. And this lets you know that we're in Egypt. What does it say?
Can I pick it up at verse 63, if you don't mind?
But you can. I don't want to take it too far, but go ahead.
Yeah,
you want to always go? Go ahead.
No, but I just want to,
Can I go back to the beginning of
keep it a little bit of context.
Chapter 1 again of the. Go ahead.
We're in the book of Deuteronomy 28, and I'm going to pick it up.
Give us an overview of what it is. If I wanted to overview what this book of Deuteronomy is about.
Yeah, this is about the cursing and the blessing of the people. You know, if we obey Yahweh, what He will do, and if you don't obey Him, what He will do.
That's right.
That's basically it.
So this is a conditional. Later on, we haven't gotten that point yet, but we know the covenant Yahweh makes with us is a conditional covenant. If you do this, bless.
I'll do that.
If you do that, you're gonna be cursed. But go ahead, then.
Verse 63. And it shall come to pass that as Yahweh rejoice over you to do you good and to multiply you, so Yahweh will rejoice over you to destroy you and to bring you to naught. And you shall be plucked from off the land, whether thou goest to possess it. And Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods,
There you go.
which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest, but Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart, and a failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. Verse 66. And thy life shall hang and in doubt before thee, and thou shalt fear day and night, and shall have none assurance of thy life. In the morning thou shalt say, would Elohim it were even. And at even thou shalt say, would Elohim it were morning. For the fear of thine heart, wherewith thou shalt fear, and for the sight of thine eyes, which thou shalt see. And Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee. Thou shalt see it no more again, and there you shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you.
Okay, so you can see then that we were reading here that this is. I kind of lost my thought, my train of thought for a moment because I went there. But to show you that this is Egypt. Where were you reading from? Who was reading? You, Obi?
Yeah.
Where were you at? I want to make sure
we were in Exodus chapter 4 at verse 8.
Okay, in verse 8, and so when you see these things, then you know that you're going to be you're here now.
That's right.
Yep.
You're in captivity.
That's right.
You didn't walk in. You came here by ships, slave ships. And you were slave men,
right.
slave women.
Right.
And there was no kinsman redeemer to buy you out of this slavery.
That's right.
There's nobody to come get you out of this one.
Okay.
You're so far away. You ain't got no kinfolk to come get you. They don't even know that they may not even know that you are their kinsman.
That's right.
But we know that our kinsman redeemer ultimately is Yahshua HaMashiach.
Praise
He redeemed us out of sin. You know, so He's going to create make that covenant right for us.
That's right.
So he's done that.
That's right.
But now but the second part, the other parts of those redemption has not been done yet.
Right.
We still got to be brought out of this captivity. Physically.
Right.
The spiritual thing. That's why we said it earlier when I was talking. You have to start seeking Yahweh now. You got to repent. You got to start changing your way you live. You cannot continue to live like this in this world age.
That's right.
This system of things.
That's right.
Everything goes.
That's why he says, "Come out of her, my people."
Right. Come out of her. Okay, bro. Thank you for reading that. Let's continue. Exodus. Continue in Exodus, Brother Obadiah.
Yes, sir. Exodus chapter 4, verse 8. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe thee, neither hearken to the voice of the first sign, that they will believe the voice of the latter sign. And it shall come to pass, if they will not believe also these two signs, neither hearken unto thy voice, that thou shalt take of the water of the river, and pour it upon the dry land, and the water which thou takest out of the river shall become blood upon the dry land.
Oh my goodness.
And Moshe said unto Yahweh, O my Adonai,
Here it is.
I am not eloquent, neither heretofore, nor since thou hast spoken unto thy servant, but I am slow of speech, and of a slow tongue. And Yahweh said unto him, Who has made man's mouth? Or who maketh the dumb, or deaf, or the seeing, or the blind? Have not I Yahweh?
Okay. So now, when I started kind of figure out why all these things happen, why these bad things happen to people, these physical issues and things like that.
Yeah.
And so he could have kept going on with the different maladies that afflict men.
Yeah.
But he said, I do it. I allow the good and the evil. That's on me.
That's right.
What can you do with that?
Right.
But at least let you know something.
Right.
You know?
It's your humbling.
Yeah.
That's a humbling statement, because he's showing he's declaring his power.
Exactly.
Of course.
Yes, sir. Verse 12. Now therefore go, and I will be with thy mouth, and teach thee what thou shalt say.
There you go.
And he said, O my Adonai, send I pray thee by the hand of him whom you will send. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against Moshe. And he said, Is not Aaron thy Levite? Is not Aaron the Levite thy brother? I know that he can speak well. And also, behold, he cometh forth to meet thee. And when he seeth thee, he will be glad in his heart. And thou shalt speak unto him, and put words in his mouth. And I will be with your mouth, and with his mouth, and will teach you what you shall do.
Listen very closely as this brother reads this part here. Continue, bro.
Yes, sir. Verse 16. And he shall be thy spokesman unto the people. And he shall be, even he shall be to thee instead of a mouth. And thou shalt be to him instead of Elohim. And thou shalt take this rod in thine hand, wherewith thou shalt do signs. And Moshe went and returned to Jethro his father-in-law, and said unto him, Let me go, I pray thee, and return unto my brethren which are in Egypt, and see whether they be yet alive. And Jethro said to Moshe, Go in peace.
So obviously Moshe's having interaction with his brother, his family.
That's right.
So he's not totally cut off
from
his people.
Right.
So there's some kind of interaction going on.
Yeah.
That's a sign right there. That's a little hint, right?
That's right.
Continue, bro.
Yes,
We're gonna wrap up this chapter.
Yes, sir. Verse 19. And Yahweh said unto Moshe in Midian, Go return into Egypt, for all the men are dead which sought thy life. And Moshe took his wife and his sons, and set them upon an ass, and he returned to the land of Egypt. And Moshe took the rod of Elohim in his hand. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, When thou goest to return into Egypt, see that thou doest all those wonders before Pharaoh, which I have put in thine hand. But I will harden his heart, that he shall not let the people go.
Right.
And thou shalt say unto Pharaoh, Thus saith Yahweh, Israel is my son, even my firstborn.
Okay.
And I say unto thee, let my son go, that he may serve me. And if thou refuse to let him go, behold, I will slay thy son, even thy firstborn.
Beginning from the end.
Yes,
It's
sir.
the end from the beginning.
That's right. And it shall come to pass by the way in the inn that Yahweh met him and sought to kill him.
Okay, wait a minute. Okay. You want to kill Moshe?
That's right. Then Zipporah took a sharp stone and cut off the foreskin of her son, and cast it at his feet, and said, Surely a bloody husband thou art. Surely a bloody husband art thou to me.
Mm-hmm.
So he let him go. Then she said, a bloody husband thou art, because of the circumcision.
Wow.
So she knew that the angel was basically going to take Moshe out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Okay, but he coming through that woman.
That's right.
In the footnote of my Bible, do you have a footnote down there that talks about that, brother? And would you read what your footnote says? For Genesis 4, for Exodus 4, verse 24. Do you have that in yours? That interprets it?
I don't.
Okay.
Are you talking about
yeah.
3? It's in the context,
Yeah,
interpret.
yeah.
Moshe,
I was going to read it.
got it? Oh.
Okay, well, go ahead. Go ahead and read it then.
Moshe was forgetful of the very foundation, sign of Israel, covenant.
Yeah, read it out loud. I want to make sure that I think.
Okay, let me start back
Be
over.
boldly. Put it out there.
Moshe was forgetful of the very foundation, sign of Israel, covenant relation to Yahweh. On the eve of delivering Israel, he was thus reminded that without circumcision, an Israelite was cut off from the covenant.
See, and that's, thank you, brother.
You're welcome,
Yeah.
man.
And, you know, that's,
Yeah, I had it.
yeah, okay, I said it was footnote 3. I'm sorry, I didn't give you the right footnote. You're right, I caught up on that, what I was saying. Praise y'all. Continue, though.
Yes, sir. Verse 29. And Moshe and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders.
No, you skipped, you're in
27.
27.
27? Okay, I'm sorry. And Yahweh said to Aaron, go into the wilderness to meet Moshe. And he went and met him in the mount of Elohim and kissed him. And Moshe told Aaron all the words of Yahweh who had sent him, and all the signs which he had commanded him. And Moshe and Aaron went and gathered together all the elders of the children of Israel. And Aaron spoke all the words which Yahweh had spoken unto Moshe, and did the signs in the sight of the people. And the people believed. And when they heard that Yahweh had visited the children of Israel, and that he had looked upon their affliction, then they bowed their heads and worshipped.
Hallelujah.
Praise Yahweh.
And see, we see that where we've gone now, and this is great. Hallelujah.
Praise
Because we see Aaron, this is the first time it's mentioned that he had a brother, you know, right?
Yeah.
We only knew of Miriam. They didn't mention his other sibling.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
So, but again, when you can't write well, I didn't say, look, you can't write everything in a life of everything. It's putting it down so that the relevant characters are necessary. The people that are meant to be mentioned are mentioned.
Mm-hmm.
It's not a lexicon of the world.
Right.
But everything ever written
That's right.
and said or spoken, Yahweh got that in heaven. Don't worry about that. And what you've been saying in closed doors has been recorded.
Correct.
Mm-hmm.
But for this purpose of this book,
Yes.
that ain't necessary.
That's not the
That's not the purpose of this book. Let me see.
But look in verse 27.
Mm.
You know, at the time when he'd been talking to Moshe, you know, Yahweh at the same time was talking to Aaron.
Right.
That's right.
Is what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah,
Now,
but
and when you say that, I'm glad you get that.
Yeah.
Because, you know, what was that spoken to him in an audible voice, or was it in a spiritual?
Correct.
You know, spirit said, go see your brother.
yeah.
Because we know the angel appeared to Moshe. So
Right.
how did he appear to Aaron? How
He
did he?
didn't. So
Well, they
bring that
disclose
message.
they didn't disclose that, but we have to
Right.
know that. Well, we know it's disclosed because I already said, Yahweh already told you that
faith.
I'm going to go. What Moses is going to tell you,
Mm-hmm.
Moshe is God for your purposes, Aaron.
Mm.
Yeah.
So what did he tell you to say?
You're gonna say
You said, and then you brought it up again. You brought it up in Numbers 11.
That's right.
You know what I mean? Numbers 11. So, matter of fact, we're going to end right now our Sabbath class discussion officially, like we do, which was entitled Exodus. I'm going to do it again. Exodus.
A nation out of a nation.
Brother, you're right. Exodus.
a nation out of a nation.
Praise God.
Praise
And so that, and we made it to through 4 chapters. But let's just for the sake of showing you what like who has been. Let's go to Numbers. I think it's Numbers. It's number 15. I said 11, but it may be where. Let me see. They got on Moses. when they were saying
with Miriam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Here it is. I'm sorry. It's Numbers 12.
Okay.
The book of Numbers 12. Who just read? Who finished reading? Okay. Okay. But let's read that. Uriah, let's start.
Where you want to be?
Chapter 12, verse 1.
Numbers. We're in the book of we're in the book of Numbers, chapter 12.
And we're going here to show you two things, I think. First, that Yahweh dealt with Moshe face to face. He spoke that angel that bore Yahweh's name, spoke to Moshe directly.
That's right.
Right?
That's right.
And to show you that he did not speak to Aaron and Miriam face to face,
Correct.
as they say.
Correct.
And we say, be careful what you put on Yahweh. Well, Yahweh told me the spirit is not going to conflict with this word.
No.
Yahweh's not the author of confusion.
No.
Go ahead, brother.
Verse 1. And Miriam and Aaron spake against Moshe because of the Ethiopian woman whom he had married, for he had married an Ethiopian woman. And they said, hath Yahweh indeed spoken only by Moshe? Hath he not spoken also by us? And Yahweh heard it. Now the man Moshe was very meek above all men which were upon the face of the earth. And Yahweh spake suddenly unto Moshe and Aaron, and unto Aaron, and unto Miriam, come out, you three, unto the tabernacle of the congregation. And they three came out.
Somebody said something.
Right.
But now let's see about
They
this.
heard that voice.
They heard that.
Right.
So continue.
Verse 5. And Yahweh came down in the pillar of the
Oh
cloud.
my goodness. Could you imagine seeing that?
Oh man, it's time to run. Put our best shoe on and started running. Let me start by verse 5. And Yahweh came down in the pillar of the cloud and stood in the door of the tabernacle and called Aaron and Miriam, and they both came forth. And he said, hear now my words. If there be a prophet among you, I, Yahweh, will make myself known unto him in a vision, and will speak unto him in a dream.
And going from this point, this is how Yahweh spoke to all his prophets.
That's right.
Nobody else.
That's right.
That was it. From that point on, Moshe, that's why he's so unique.
That's right.
After Moshe, that's how he dealt with the prophets.
That's correct.
Correct?
That's right.
And then you get the Mashiach. Now that's a different game.
That's a different
unto you, Moshe.
Like unto you.
And he dealt with him in that same
Say that again, brother.
Yeah, he said, I'm going to raise up a prophet like unto you, Moshe. And we see that, and he said, and to him, they have, your brother should hearken. I'm paraphrasing.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, Yahweh dealt with him in the same manner.
Same manner.
That's right. So continue with this, bro.
Verse 7. My servant Moshe is not so, who is faithful in all mine house. With him will I speak mouth to mouth, even apparently, and not in dark speeches, and the similitude of Yahweh shall ye behold. Wherefore then were he not afraid to speak against my servant Moshe?
Okay, now check this out. Yahweh chooses the servants who he wants. He makes a servant. Look at Yosef. He didn't speak to Yosef. Did he? Like that? He spoke to Yosef in those dreams. In dark sands.
He didn't understand the dream.
And he didn't understand most of it.
To his brothers and even his father didn't, but he said his father hearkened.
He hearkened to him.
He took note.
Be wise.
Took note to that.
And then we say that when he's a full-grown man, spiritually mature, he understands, this is why Yahweh did that. He understands it. But it was always through a dream or some other method.
Yeah.
But it wasn't speaking. So
Face
you
to
say
face.
that Yahweh had already. Say, what can you do with Yahweh? Yahweh will sanctify and put the people he wants in the spot. You can't say anything against them. Right? So now he asked the question, why were you not afraid to speak against my servant Moshe? Now let's just see what happened to him. You're right.
Verse 9. And the anger of Yahweh was kindled against them, and he departed. And the cloud departed from off the tabernacle, and behold, Miriam became leprous, white as snow. And Aaron looked upon Miriam, and behold, she was leprous.
Now, Elder, that was a good point, because when we were reading in Exodus, it said leprous, and it just left it there.
Right.
But now, they go a little further with it. They say white as snow. So now when you see that
turned
word,
all over.
you say, well, dang. It says, you know, right. So his hand became white. So that the people don't misunderstand, like we are adding something to it. The book confirms itself.
That is, brother. Praise God.
Like you say, Yahweh kept the truth in this book.
Hallelujah.
Praise
God. Yeah, he did. That's well said.
Verse
he
11.
kept the truth in this book.
And Aaron said unto Moshe, Alas, my Adonai, I beseech thee, lay not the sin upon us, wherein we have done foolishly, and wherein we have sinned. Man, you have to look back at that.
Okay, go ahead. I know you're going to do. Finish it up. I read your mind. Go ahead and read. I know. Go ahead, brother. Go ahead.
Praise that, man.
Say what you're going to say. I'm just with you.
No, man.
No, you know I know it.
Man, I have nothing to do with it, man.
Say it. No, go ahead and say it, brother. I'm just messing with you.
No, I'm just looking at verse 11. No, you know, two things. It's like, Yahweh didn't do anything to...
Well, see, let us finish reading. I know what he won't let us finish. He want to take it. He want to
hey, you know what?
No.
Let's go.
I know he's doing it. He's like I'm joking, though. I read his mind. I know he getting ready to do it. Let's finish up the thing, man.
No,
I know. We're going to go over it. So I know you want to jump
let me say something. I'm going to go to 12.
No.
But no, look at it. Yahweh has given us the keepers of the house of life.
Well, praise God.
Praise God. Verse 1.
I gotta watch this guy. You don't know it. Let her not. I want to read through it all first, though.
Let her not be as one dead, of whom the flesh is half consumed, when he cometh out of his mother's womb. And Moshe cried unto Yahweh, saying, Heal her now, O Elohim, I beseech thee. Man, you know, Moshe is powerful.
That's right.
You know, Yahweh has given, he can negotiate with Yahweh.
Praise God.
Yeah. Oh, come on, man. Come on. Verse 14. And Yahweh said unto Moshe, if her father had but spit in her face, should she not be ashamed 7 days? Let her be shut out from the camp 7 days, and after that let her be received in again. And Miriam was shut out from the camp 7 days, and the people journeyed not till Miriam was brought in again. And afterward the people removed from Hazeroth and pitched in the wilderness of Paran.
So now I'm going to ask the question. I'm going to let you.
No, man.
So now we can ask the question. So you know, the point is, why wasn't, I'm going to ask the question now. Why wasn't Aaron made leprous, you know, like Miriam? Why did Miriam bear the punishment and not and not Aaron? There you go. That's the question. You ready? I'm ready. You right?
Oh, you ready?
Yeah, I've asked the question. Go ahead and answer. I've asked the question. Why wasn't Aaron made leprous? You know, like Miriam. What was going on?
You see,
I know you know.
Yeah, I mean,
no, be back.
Yahweh through Moshe has made Aaron the priest,
right?
And that's basically it. You see, they need a priest, you know, to conduct everything, because the priest is the one that recognizes all these things. If you're leprous, you know, you know what to do. You know, sit out, watch it, and bring her back in, check and say everything is okay before she can get back into the camp. And they need a priest to perform all those things, which is given in the law.
So
he had to declare her
clean or unclean.
Right.
Yeah.
See, so you're looking at it. So yeah, that's exactly what I know. You know, I know where he was going. I want to make sure we read it all first and got it out.
Yeah.
Because you look at Moshe, he is the mediator of the covenant, the first covenant. Yeah. So Moshe is the mediator of the covenant.
That's correct.
Like you said, and he's Yahweh's prophet, messenger. And he made Yahweh made Aaron the priest.
That's right.
So now you got the sister cursed or made leprous, right? So then you got to have somebody make, the mediator got to make intercession, right? So Moshe makes intercession.
That's right.
Yeah.
Right? And like you said, right. And then the priest couldn't do nothing. Right then. He had to go to Moshe.
But he confessed it.
He confessed it.
He said,
He
we
done wrong. And that he confessed that sin. That's another component.
Right.
He just confessed the sin off the top.
So he was part of it.
Right.
He said, we.
Yeah.
That's right. We have done foolishness.
That's right.
And wherein we have sinned.
That's right.
So he confessed. But now you got Moshe got to be the guy to step forward.
Bring it to Yahweh.
I mean, Yahweh say, hey, she was been unclean at least for 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
She got spit on like that.
Mm-hmm.
So she's unclean. She's bearing that sin.
Yeah.
So she's put outside the camp.
Yeah.
The next question is, was Miriam's skin color restored?
No.
Well, let's say you.
We don't
It's
read
not written in the book.
we don't read that it was.
Yes, right. So exactly.
We don't, but he cried. He said,
He said,
let
kill
her
him.
not be as one
Mhm.
dead whose flesh is half
Right.
consumed.
Okay.
You know, so we understand. But he said, so he
Right.
he demanded of Yahweh.
Right.
He said, Yahweh says, you my sons command you me.
Right.
He commanded him. He said, Yahweh, heal her now.
Right.
This is it. Heal her now.
But he followed the law of cleanliness,
Mm-hmm.
and he set her outside the camp 7 days,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
But
It didn't
remember,
say whether or not.
yeah, but remember, you got to go back in and study. We talk about the as you said, the priest determines if that leprosy is clean
Mm-hmm.
or is of another type.
Yeah.
Right.
If the board of the skin breaks out, etc.
Right.
But she's fully white leprous, so therefore that's clean. She's still clean.
Yeah.
You see, but we can go into it and go directly to it. So
Right.
she's clean. Yeah, she remained leprous,
Mm-hmm.
but she was clean.
Yeah.
It was the clean type.
Yeah.
You know, it wasn't leprous because she was clean.
Yeah.
Nothing else appeared on her body.
Yeah.
Mm.
But you understand?
That's right.
Well,
You got it?
yeah, I was gonna say that just what we read in Exodus when Moshe pushed his hand and his hand,
Yeah, that wasn't
white,
It came back out.
Yeah.
and came back out.
Right.
Yeah, he changed that. Yeah,
Right.
but
she didn't
I
get the
saw-
same.
no.
She didn't get the same. 'Cause Yahweh meant something by this. Y'all here talking crazy about my servant.
Mm-hmm.
You know, somebody see. You know, my mom used to tell me certain things in life,
Mm.
and that's why I'm very careful even with this group.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not. Look, don't let nobody lead you into something
Mm-hmm.
that you can't get out of. They may walk away,
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
but you're the one bearing the burden. You're the one bearing the scar.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You go in there rob the bank. You're gonna do some crime. Guess what? They got away. You doing all the time.
Mm-hmm.
But you're not gonna snitch on them, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you gotta do 35 to 40 years. That's a criminal example.
Mm-hmm.
But there's many different ways to look at that.
Correct.
So this is a lesson sometimes. Watch what you be saying about Yahweh's people.
Mm-hmm.
That's why we be careful.
You have to be
Be
very,
very careful.
very,
You know,
very.
Yahweh just might be what? Listening. He said, they spoken and Yahweh heard it.
Mm.
See, and Yahweh's a consuming fire. See,
Man, come on,
see,
bro.
it was many a times that Moshe. We're going to read further up when we read further along after he actually is. Yahweh allows him to deliver the children of Israel
Mm-hmm.
Right.
out of Egypt. But we're going to see that this same. They're going to present this to him, and it's going to be brought up in the same manner.
Okay.
They're going to
Praise
speak
God.
against him and carry on and all kind of things. But Yahweh's going to correct them and show them.
Exactly. See, when you read these things, but we've been studying these things.
Yeah.
You know, that's why I was speaking with my brother Elder York. I knew he was going because we have all studied together. We know. I know he's going to say. I said, I read his mind. But he laid it out like he's supposed to.
Crazy.
That's what he said. Boom, boom, boom.
Well, you know what? Another thing, I know in verse 11, I said, my Adonai, you so quick Aaron realized that he's sin, and he said, my master, he's the elder.
Now you don't turn. Yeah, you know.
He's the elder. Yeah, he said, my master, don't lay this sin in us, please.
Right. Now all of a sudden they recognize that. Oh my goodness.
We have done wrong.
We did wrong.
Yeah, you did wrong. And see, sometimes it's good to. Sometimes Yahweh bring you out.
Yeah.
Sometimes let it go down the line a little while.
Yeah.
But one way or the other, all sin is going to be visited.
Of course.
But the good thing about it is, if Yahweh give you a spirit to pray, and you that spirit, you can pick up on it. He'll bring it to you during your prayer time.
Yeah.
He'll bring it back to you during the meditation.
Right. Yeah.
Because he's just that good.
Yeah. Oh, come on,
But
man.
what I was saying earlier, I was like,
Go ahead.
I was saying that Moshe, he constantly stood in the breach for his people. But
Yes.
Yahweh's wrath got kindled many a times, and he was like, Moshe, just get out the way. Let me kill them. Let me kill them all and make a nation out of you.
Mm.
So with this situation, Yahweh said, okay, well, if her father spit in her face, she would still have to be separated for a week. Moshe's like, heal her, Yahweh, please, you know.
Right.
And Yahweh, he heals her, but, you know, someone stood in the breach to stay that wrath.
Exactly.
And that's the point that I was making, that Yahweh always, Moshe stood in the breach.
Exactly.
And this is the character that we see that he bestowed throughout this.
Good point, Brother Obadiah, because we see that coming back to Moshe's birth, we see it. I kind of talked about it, but praise y'all for you bringing it up, that comment, because it shows you that he was the vessel for this purpose.
Correct.
He chose Moshe, but only Moshe could do these things. That Yahweh chose him to do this. He was that vessel to do this. He didn't want to. See, a lot of times, make me, I want to be the head.
Right.
He already in the wrong spirit in.
Wrong spirit.
Moshe
tried to get I want to get out of
there. And then
Yahweh got mad at it.
They got mad at it. That's using Yahweh. Uriah. Why not you?
Right.
You're going to go. Why me? Why not?
He told him. He said, look, I'm going to send you.
You're going to do this.
And you're going to do this. I'm going to harden his heart. And afterwards, he's going to let him out. He told him the whole story.
Yeah.
The brother's coming to meet you. Come on, man. You're holding up time.
Let's get with it. Let's go. We got things to do. The people there have been burdened. They've been afflicted. Let's wrap it up. But brothers, praise God that we are able to come here. See, a lot of people can't even jump at the table because they're so serious. You feel me? They get mad.
Right.
But see this brother here talk about me. Y'all don't see it.
You know,
I have no choice.
I'm not going to get up and walk over to you and give you a big one. No, we don't have that spirit. Yahweh don't give us that spirit.
Oh no. It's a rumble in the jungle. But see, that's the thing that when you start in the beginning of the book, Yahweh give us opportunity to be very meticulous here. But that don't mean we covered everything. That means you got to open your book.
That's right.
And do your pray and meditate and do your book. But the Spirit will show you something that we haven't seen. You know, and Brother Uriah's, he didn't go over it, but he's going to talk. I think he's probably waiting to get to.
He's trying to hide that.
Hey, this brother here, he know me so good.
I was going to say.
No, come on.
We're still waiting on it.
2 against 1. Come on, no, man.
He's waiting to probably get to
It was an excellent.
Oh, man.
I'm watching it. I know it. I said, he's going to probably wait till we get to Exodus 6.
Okay.
He's going to, I know it. I'm watching it.
All right.
But we had a discussion about it.
But Elder's going to have to do a class.
Yeah, he's going to talk about it, and he'll touch on it probably next week. He'll probably touch on this next Shabbat about the name, what we went over in Exodus, what was that, 3?
That's right.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We're gonna you're gonna present something, and now I'm putting it out here now, so he's bound.
You might as well.
He's bound out.
No. Keep them in suspense. Hey, y'all was giving you too much.
No, I'm just saying.
We set the tone.
This is the tone. So now I was waiting for him to jump in, but he kept it calm. He didn't say nothing. He read over it.
I was looking for
it. Like, you know that I deliberately. Oh, he's not good, man. Oh, come on, man. In a good way, okay?
But listen, brothers.
Yeah.
I think it's time for us to praise God. Call it class. But I wanted to read things that I didn't read, just to let y'all know who we are. We are the keepers of the house of light, and we are dedicated to spreading righteousness, love, mercy, and forgiveness of our Father, Yahweh, Elohim of hosts, by and through his Son, Yahshua the Mashiach, or Yahshua the Messiah, the Lamb of Yahweh, the King of Israel, the High Priest, and the Redeemer, and our Redeemer and Savior, whose name be blessed forever. And we're to teach and proclaim the gospel of Yahshua, who magnifies the law of Yahweh and make it righteous. And we hope that we will be doing these things, not only just reading, but by our actions.
Correct.
Our actions. That's what counts. Yahweh wants us to be about we're his ministers. If you are in the blood of Yahshua, you are a minister of Elohim. That means you're a servant. All that means you're a servant.
Yeah.
That's all it means. So we're not perfect. But we're going to do as, just try to do this thing the best we can. Also, before we go on a little bit further, I wanted to, you people see here a menorah we have a menorah, which is a candle holder, right? And so in this candle holder, you might see these, but I don't know if anyone has really told you about them, about what is the purpose, of everything that Yahweh does is by design.
Yeah.
It's for a purpose, right? So if you go to the book of Exodus, and we're gonna get there again, but so if you see this, why they got that on the table? Because some of us make mistake things, say, oh, that's Esau. Some of us might do that. Let's be careful. Be careful. But go in the book of Exodus, chapter 25, and verse 31. These are the different things that Yahweh commanded Moshe to have made. Okay? And so Exodus 25, verse 31, and let's Obi, you gonna read it?
Yes, sir.
You read that, right? Let's just read so we can see what this is all about when you see these things.
Exodus chapter 25, verse 31. And thou shalt make a candlestick of pure gold, of beaten work shall the candlestick be made. His shaft and his branches, his bowls, his knops, and his flowers shall be of the same. And 6 branches shall come out of the sides of it, 3 branches of the candlestick out of one side, and 3 branches of the candlestick out of the other side. 3 bowls make like unto almonds, with a knot and a flower in one branch, and 3 bowls made like almonds in the other branch, with a knot and a flower. So in the 6 branches that come out of the candlestick. And in the candlestick shall be 4 bowls made like unto almonds, with their knops and their flowers. And there shall be a knot under 2 branches of the same, and a knot under 2 branches of the same, and a knot under 2 branches of the same, according to the 6 branches that proceed out of the candlestick. Their knops and their branches shall be of the same, and it shall be one beaten work of pure gold. And thou shalt make the 7 lamps thereof, and they shall light the lamps thereof, that they may give light over against it.
See, that's the 7, right?
Yes, sir. And the tongs thereof, and the snuff dishes thereof, shall be of pure gold. Of a talent of pure gold shall he make it with all these vessels. And look that thou make them after their pattern, which was showed thee in the mountain.
So Yahweh showed Moshe these things. And so these are the things, these things are set up according to Yahweh.
That's
right. Now, we don't have the candles in right now. We're not doing that right now. But we want to show you these things and let you know that they all are in the book.
That's right.
So these is the part of our court. This is not good. This is not gold. Don't put gold. You know better. But that was in the tabernacle. These are the things, and we're going to learn more about that as we go through the book of Exodus. And but see, this is what you got to know at the minimum. And so with that, I'm going to stop. We know that
we have the holy days approaching us.
Okay.
So Passover will fall on the 13th at even, which is Wednesday. Unleavened bread, day 1 will be on the 14th at even. And then first fruits will be on the 15th at even, which will bring in the weekly Shabbat, or weekly Sabbath. And then the unleavened bread, day 7, will fall on the 20th of April. And also for those who miss the Passover, that falls on the 13th, the second Passover. And we know according to the law, there's only specific reasons why one is even able to even given a pass to be able to take the second Passover.
That's right.
And we can read that in Numbers 15. But I believe, let me make sure I'm correct on that. But the second Passover date will fall on the 12th of May.
Okay. So we're going to just do class. We're going to do a class, nevertheless.
Correct.
So remotely, as we normally do. So we're going to cover that.
Yes.
If you're out on travel or something happened, you're hospitalized, whatever it may be. And the unleavened bread, you want to talk about the unleavened bread, about how they should prepare their homes, Brother Uriah?
Well, we have to make sure we get rid of all the leavens in our home. Unleavened are the things that we use that cause the product to rise, like baking powder, baking soda.
Right.
And also, we do heats also.
Right.
For those brothers who love to drink their beers and everything else, I'm sorry. We just have to get rid of it for a couple of days. And
This is for consumption. These are things about consumption.
We're talking about things that we consume.
You don't have to throw out your fire hydrant. Fire extinguisher.
Right.
No.
Stuff like that.
No. Only
You're not
thing.
consuming those.
Right.
I hope you're not doing it.
Yeah. So that.
So you're in trouble.
Yeah. So that is pretty much it. Unless you want to add anything to it more than that. I know you're going to mention a lot of things in our class about the Mashiach,
Yes,
represent
right,
the unleavened bread and all.
Right, praise God. Go ahead, bring it
also.
out. Yeah, you know that leaven represents what? Right?
Yeah, sin.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we all gonna do a class in it on Passover Day. So just look out for the class and tune in. That's basically it.
Okay, but do you have anything else to say?
No, that's it.
Okay, well, again, we are the keepers of the house of light, and we like to thank everyone for tuning in with us across the various mediums so we can just keep this day holy. This is Yahweh's Sabbath, and with that, we pray that you continue to keep the remainder of the day holy. Remember the reading of Isaiah 58. Let's do those things. Put off your personal desires and pleasures until the end, until sundown. And then you can, Yahweh is not burdensome. It allows you to go back to the things that you want to do.
Yeah.
If you have to go to work, go play some football or whatever, go ahead and do it. Yahweh he wants to make sure you live.
Yeah.
He's showing us the way how this word allows us to, you keep these laws, it allows you to live in them.
That's right.
Yep.
So you may live a little longer by keeping these commandments, right? But we also have the Mashiach, and he is the embodiment of the law.
That's right.
So and he's the master of the Sabbath. So how are you going to deal with the master of the Sabbath? And you're not, and you don't want to do what he wants you to do. So let's keep that in mind.
Praise.
And with that, brother Elder Uriah, Shabbat Shalom.
Shalom, my elder.
Brother Elder, brother, he ain't old as us. I'm still a young man. I'm sorry, but I know you're young and fit. I'm gonna be quiet. But Brother Obadiah, Deacon Obadiah, Shabbat Shalom. And let's just, and to our audience, that are viewing audience, I guess we just do it one time. Shabbat Shalom.